Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of Director Spotlight. I'm your host, Alex Figueroa, and my co-host is
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
All right, so now tonight's episode is going to be great. I mean, we're tackling one of the, I think, greatest directors of our generation, right, Nate? I guess you want to say?
I mean, yeah. I mean, definitely of our generation. Yes,
yeah,
100%. Yes,
that's absolutely right. But we're not the only two here for tonight. I mean, this is the first Director Spotlight that we added one more, but this time, my man Greenlight, he is a actual film director. So we're going to bring him in a few. We're going to do some promotionals. I want to do some promotionals first, right? But we're going to, actually, I want to bring him in too. It'd be easier to do it that way. Again, I would just like to say what's up to everyone that is with us live. Once we said we're going to be doing Nolan, a lot of people started DMing Nate. A lot of people have been telling me their stuff, and I love it. This is cool. This is why we do it.
Huh? All of a sudden. Also, guys, first show in my new digs, you notice no Batman. I'm no longer in jail with the Batman painting behind me. So we did record a podcast here last week, but this is the first live show.
We did.
So fingers crossed on the internet, baby. Fingers crossed. I saw Evan the other night. Fingers crossed. I don't run into those problems.
Maybe. You never know. Jose's in the house. He's our patron. Thank you so much. Robert Makes the Cut is in the house. Turner Fan 77's in the house. Jay Manley. Evan's in the house. Again, if you guys have not checked the episode that I sit down with Evan inside the collector's cave, check it out. It's actually pretty good. Awesome. He is a Disney collector / historian of history. So check that one out. Tim Talkies is in the house. He put his list of all his movies. We'll get to that soon. Jay Manley, David McGuire. Again, all the patrons that support. Yeah, Harrison's in the house too. And all the patrons that support this channel. Thank you so much. I have something cool cooked up for everybody. I'm going to put a little subtitle in the bottom with all you guys' names that support the channel on the Patreon. And it was going to be running while we're doing our lives. So with that said, let's have some fun. Let's bring in Greenlight. I got to get his actual name. So once he comes out, we're going to ask his name because I can't call him Greenlight because that's kind of weird.
That's how people in the chat know him. We'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to introduce him, but he has to do it. I'm like, I can't call him Greenlight all night.
Tell him your name.
Tell him your name. All right, so here we go. Our special guest, Greenlight. Check it out. Hey.
Hey, guys. Hey, I hope you guys can hear me well
you're good.
From here far back, but I had to bring the Batman in.
There we go.
Very nice. That's the proper shirt for this show.
And it's the proper Tim Burton Batman because I'm a Batman fan. So no offense to the Chris Nolan Batman fans because my sister's a huge Chris Nolan Batman fan. But I love Batman Begins. She's a Dark Knight person. But yeah, my name's Giovanni Santos, and I do have Greenlight. I do have a regular, like my own personal YouTube channel called Giovanni Santos. It's with the Jovanni. A lot of people ask me that. So basically, there I have all my short films and music videos and little promos and stuff like that. And on there, I used to have Creed on there, but I took it down because Amazon's moving forward with Freevee, I believe. So it's called right now, and it used to be IMDb TV. I used to see more action with that, but now it's starting to kick back up, and I'm starting to see a lot of marketing around that. So it's free to all. Everybody can come and watch this movie and watch it there, and that'll be supporting me and supporting Greenlight as well. So that's kind of what I do. I really don't do a lot of like Patreon yet or anything like that just yet. Haven't quite figured out the whole idea of like asking people for money thing. I'm too weird about that. Like I did get paid recently for something for a Tribe Called Quest, a member on Tribe Called Quest. So he's not around anymore, but he basically did his own personal album. So I got to work on some lyrics on that and do lyrics and 3D background and all that stuff as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you have it, guys. All right, so here we go. Like I said, there's going to be some promotionals. So with that said, let's just have some fun. And let's promote some stuff quick so we can get into this stuff because this is going to be a big topic tonight. First thing I said, Pop Culture Evan. I sat down with him. We had a cool time. Again, if you want to be featured on this segment, all you have to do is DM me on Geeks and Flicks on Instagram, and then we'll schedule something. Now, Nate, are you ready for something? This is new.
I don't know.
This is new.
Okay. All right.
I got a secret.
I like surprises.
Starting Wednesday, July 20th, live streaming Wednesday nights on this channel, specially. Now, Nate could come in. Like I said, Nate will always be invited to any of the live streams. But me and Jody from Steels, Blu-rays, and 4Ks, we're getting together with Cinephiles. We're going to start the first episode on July 20th. And we're going to be tackling, and let me tell you, you dudes are going to be like, you guys been bothering me with the damn Marvel Cinematic Universe? Well, guess what? We're starting with Captain America 1. We're going to have this special guest here, Sebastian Walker. This guy has, I don't know how much different types of Captain America First Avengers that he has, but the Cinephiles is merging collectors and movie buffs together. So this is the content. If you want to check out different variations of these type of movies, I will be sitting down with Jody. He's the one that does the group buys and everything and all these special editions of stuff. We're going to be showing off all our collections for certain movies. We're going to be breaking down our first episode, Captain America, First Avenger. There you have it.
I have one copy.
You got one copy.
One.
This dude got like mad copies. It's awesome.
No, one copy.
No, it's going to be awesome. But yes, again, we're going to be breaking all of this down. So again, we're going to be doing all 20-something Marvel. So every 2 weeks, it's going to be a new Marvel movie, a new guest showing off their collection of whatever the movie we're going to be talking about. So the first episode is going to be Captain America, First Avenger. So again, if you guys are Marvel fans, you guys want to talk about this stuff, I don't talk about Marvel stuff, so guess what? This is the first time I'm going to be breaking this damn stuff down from my point of view, so it's actually going to be pretty cool. Nate will always have a seat in this, so it's up to him whenever Wednesdays that he want to do or tackle whatever movie he wants to do. Again, guys, if you want to sit down and you want to show off your stuff and you want to talk about any Marvel movie, just hit me up on which movie you want to do, and we'll set it up. So other than that, let's have some fun with this Christopher Nolan stuff.
Oh, Evan wants to know what time. Probably 9.
I'm gonna be there to
right?
watch
9
this,
o'clock.
so.
Yeah, 9 o'clock. Yeah.
We do
9
everything
o'clock
at
Wednesdays.
9 because Alex got kids.
Yeah,
so
everything is 9 o'clock.
9 p.m. Eastern. That's us.
Yes, everything is 9. Okay,
Yeah,
so here we go. Christopher Nolan. Oh, baby. So let's start it off with some Rotten Tomatoes, okay?
Oh yeah, give him the stats.
Here we
It
go,
took me a whole
stats.
10 minutes to compile these stats.
All right, so let's start off with the lowest. These are the lowest Rotten Tomato scores for Christopher Nolan film. Out of all his films, this is the lowest critical score from the critics and the audience. Tenet was 69 from the critics, and in the audience, 76%. What do you think?
Listen,
Tenet.
the fact that his lowest is only 69, it says something because that is still certified fresh. Well, let's round up. Let's call it 70. If your worst still got 70% positive reviews, pretty good. That's all I'm saying. That's still pretty good.
I mean, are you shocked with this, Giovanni? The lowest is Tenet?
I'm not shocked. I mean, where's this score from Rotten Tomatoes? I mean, it's no surprise there. Rotten Tomatoes has, between IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes is kind of where I go off of ratings. But films are subjective. I'm coming from a filmmaker's point of view, so films is subjective, and I feel like Tenet got hit pretty hard. Not only the pandemic hit us all, but I feel like Christopher Nolan got hit pretty hard with Tenet, and I thought it was a really good movie. I didn't think it was a masterpiece for him, but I thought it was off of what he's done before, which he's done this multiple times. This is a little bit different, but it's still in that realm of movieism in the sense of a film talking about movies, I don't know. It's a movie about a movie about a movie in a way. It makes sense to me in that sense with the whole time going backwards and everything like that. So anything that has to do with time, and filmmakers will tell you this like crazy, is like anything to do with time is filmmaking.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
Back to the Future. Favorite movie for that.
Yeah, that's true. So Evan put up a little comment up. He said, I am surprised following is not lower. I can't stand that movie. We're going to be talking about, again, we're going to be breaking down every film that this guy directed. But it's actually pretty cool. So again, Evan is just picking on stuff now. I don't know why. But he also said Tenet got lower scores because the audio What? The audio's more than anything. So many complaints, unable to hear the people talking.
Yeah, he's
They
saying
fixed
Tenet's
that.
score was lower because of the audio more than any other reason. That's his point. That's his point of view.
Gotcha.
He didn't like the sound mixing in it. I saw it in IMAX. There was moments. Certain things were louder than other things, and that's a very, I think I read I remember when it came out, I read the article where Nolan's like, well, it's mixed for the person sitting in the middle of the most perfectly calibrated system. And if you're not in that theater, in that seat, so I remember that being an issue. Now that he mentions it, to be honest.
Right. Well, here we go. This is now. We're gonna get
That's the
to
spot I like to sit in theaters, anyways, right in the middle.
So
Well,
Giovanni had the perfect experience. He heard everything.
It makes sense, but it almost doesn't.
It does. Now, the average score that Nate got with the critics is 84%, and the average for audience scores are pretty much 87%, which is not bad. That's actually not bad. That's really high.
That's 11 movies. His average scores are those.
Yeah. Now, top rated is The Dark Knight, 94%. Of course it is. Top rated audience score is Memento, Batman Begins, and The Dark Knight, 94% across those three films, which is rightfully so. I mean, we're gonna talk into each of those movies, so don't worry, guys. We're just giving you guys some Rotten Tomato scores now. Let's get to the box office numbers because, my God, I mean, we all know Steven Spielberg is the #1 director of all time with the box office. I think he's like super high. But
he also got like 50 movies.
Well, that's
too. Like before Nolan now.
Yeah. His lowest grossing, of course, is the following. His first film, $48,000. Highest grossing is The Dark Knight Rises at I think it was $1.08 billion.
Yeah, I rounded down.
Yeah.
If I see 1.0 anything, I'm rounding down.
Yeah. And then, of course, the films that have, all his films put together is $5.15 billion worldwide. I mean, that is a highly successful director, to be really honest with you. I mean,
you're talking nearly 500 million worldwide. So if you take out following, he has 10 movies.
Yeah.
That's pretty much 500 million per movie average as far as worldwide grosses. Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
If that's your average, 500 million with an 87%, audience score and we'll say this, he's making quality films by all the metrics that you can measure quality, I guess, in filmmaking.
Well, the crazy thing is, right, like now, I mean, we could talk about them now, like the films and stuff. What I noticed even watching them all, it's a hit after hit after hit. It wasn't like a piece of crap and then it's a hit, then a piece of crap. It was just straight
It's like you didn't watch a bad film.
No, it was just straight hits going from the following all the way up to Tenet were all hits. I mean, of course, Tenet was, following is his first film. He put his name out there. But after that, Memento to Tenet, you could say, holy crap, it's just been a hit after hit with his brother writing most of these movies. And then, of course, he's writing also all his other movies. I don't know what you guys think of that. I mean, is this the first director that almost all his movies are just straight up box office hit success?
Not in this generation. At least not in this generation. I haven't seen that, obviously, since Spielberg or anything like that. As far as making money, I wouldn't say just stream of hits. You could go back as far as... I couldn't think of any director, really, that has like a slew of hits. There's always something that falters. One of the movies are a little like, or whatever. It happens, But Nolan, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it done in that sense. But you see it in one place in a weird way, and it's like, I think like you see it in like the Batman movies, and it's funny because I feel like The Dark Knight Rises gets a lot of hit for that, but I felt like Batman Begins was like him easing into like a bigger budget, so that was him just trying to get into that. So you saw that a lot in like the Tumblr chase scene and stuff like that. You see the grand scale when he's like taking that flower up to that little road that he was taking up the mountain all the way up to Ra's al Ghul. Basically, those are those big Nolan tropes, and it got built off of doing something that is in that level in the zeitgeist of all of us, like straight up, like, I'm a Batman fan. I was there, but I did see Insomnia before it, and I think I saw Memento way after it, a little before high school. So I had to get a little older to find that, yeah, that's what it is with Nolan. I mean, I think the Batman films hyped him up. So, but his own movies are just so much, to me, like so much better. And as a filmmaker, it spoke to me like crazy. Like, he inspired me all the way to this point. That's why when you guys told me it was this one, I was like, oh, thank the heavens. This one, yeah, because this is between this guy and Martin Scorsese, and even like Fincher. Fincher is another one I like and follow. It's good for filmmakers to like really indulge in filmmakers and see, where they go. But this is the first. I mean, I'm a big Fincher fan, and even he has like a couple movies there that are like, I wouldn't hold him up against Nolan's track record.
Right. I mean,
everybody wants Nolan's track record, and that's why nobody's making movies. Nobody wants to make a movie because you got this guy to beat.
Yeah, I pulled up
my soul.
I pulled up Spielberg. Listen, to me, he's the greatest.
Before this guy.
He's the greatest filmmaker of all time, in my opinion. As a whole. But if you even look at his first 10, right? Like, first of all, it's Duel, which was a TV movie, right? Which we reviewed and it was very good.
Yeah,
I could put that following level.
Yeah, but I mean, but Duel is great. But then you have like the Sugarland Express, which a lot of people haven't even seen. Then Jaws. Now, from Jaws on, it's pretty great, except for 1941. But see, that's the thing. Like, he has a little miss in there amongst like Jaws, Close Encounters, E.T., Raiders. He had a run where it's incredible. But even he has a couple that like, and he's my favorite director, and he got a couple that I don't really want to watch again. Like, I don't care for 1941 too much.
Yeah.
I still got to see that.
Yeah. But anyway, let's keep going.
Well, James said something. I want to bring some people's thoughts into this. James Paris says he has a knack for being artistic with director's eye. He is this generation Spielberg, in his opinion. Yeah. I mean, everyone is agreeing with that statement.
Well, I read an interview with Nolan, or like, it wasn't a full interview, but a part to James' point about Spielberg, and it was about Interstellar. And he was saying how he wanted to make a film that is okay for families, but is still for adults. And he mentioned Spielberg being that kind of forerunner of that, where it's like, okay, this movie is not rated R. You can take your kids to it. Maybe there'll be some themes they're not going to get, but it opens them up. And as an adult, you don't feel like you're, watching a kid's movie or a family movie. You know what I mean? So, to James' point, it's kind of, I think, intentional or on purpose.
I mean, I agree with that, and also, it's like I said, it's very bizarre to see a track record like this, because honestly, once they put a trailer up of Christopher Nolan, once his name comes up, everyone goes, "I'm going to the theater to watch it." Like, you already know. And it's weird because my wife, like I said, we started to watch all of this, and she was like, "Oh, he's my favorite director." Like, after the minute it finished, I was like, "Holy crap!" And she's not big on that stuff. The only one currently
working like him is Tarantino. If Tarantino, if his name pops up on a screen, everyone in theater goes, "Oh, I'm watching this." I don't know what it is,
but even the Tarantino film doesn't have the budget that Chris Nolan has.
It doesn't make the money, but it has that same rabid kind of fan base.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's get right into it. We're going to start diving into each of his films. But with that said, let's put in this medley that I put together. Now, this is from 1998 all the way up to 2006, The Prestige. So from the following 1998 to The Prestige, 2006. So sit back and enjoy this awesome medley.
Just became irresistible.
You followed women?
I followed anybody. I just wanted to see where they went, what they did. It was supposed to just be completely random. You would never follow the same person twice. That was the most important rule. That was the one that I broke first. That's when the trouble started.
You really want to get this guy, don't you?
My wife deserves vengeance.
When you find this guy, what are you going to do?
Kill him.
Somebody's got to pay, Lenny. Somebody always pays.
I saw pretty clearly, didn't I? I saw you take aim. Get in front, shoot your partner in the chest.
You haven't had any sleep. You're not thinking straight, bro. What are you going to do, tell him the truth?
Your parents' death was not your fault.
The training is nothing. The will is everything.
If you make yourself more than just, if you devote yourself to an ideal, you become something else entirely.
Every great magic trick consists of 3 acts. The first act is called the pledge. The magician shows you something ordinary, but of course, it probably isn't. The second act is called the turn.
He's obsessed with discovering your method.
The magician makes this ordinary something do something extraordinary. Now you're looking for the secret, but you won't find it. That's why there's a third act called the prestige.
All right, so there you have it. So there he goes. That's from The Following to The Prestige 2006. Now, we're going to start off with this first movie, The Following. Now, let me just tell you, Batman Begins in black and white look freaking sick. Let me just tell you. It
and
looked
Insomnia
awesome.
did too.
Yeah, Insomnia looked good too.
Let me just really quick before we start. We got this is for the audience and for us guys. Like, we don't make scripts. We go by the seat of our pants.
Yeah.
But we got 11 movies. So when we're gonna go through these, let's try to keep it quick thoughts on the movies, because then we still got to rank them towards the end. So we're not gonna do a dissertation on each one. But I know Giovanni's his favorite guy, so he's got some tidbits. I'm
sure. I got a lot. Yeah.
So the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna do it from The Following to The Prestige. Then I'll show the next clip, and then we break them down like that. So it'll be quicker. Okay, so let's start off with The Following, 1998. Nate, what did you think when you first watched this film? And everyone too, if you guys are watching and this is the first time you saw this with us, let us know in the comments below, and we'll chime in. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this was obviously I rewatched everything for this. So I had seen this a couple years ago. I think it's a good film. I don't think it's a great film. And, but there's the reason why I don't think it's great is more limitations that were kind of outside of his control, right? Like this almost feels like a student film by like the best student in a class, like in a film school. Right. Very low budget. They had to do a lot of things. And on a creative level, it's quite possibly up there as far as one of his more creative, as far as how he had to make it. But like the performances are a little, they're not amazing. These are like no-name actors. So on a lot of the technical stuff, it doesn't reach the peaks of his other one. But from a storytelling perspective, right off the bat, it shows how talented he was going to become, or already was really, and would become. So I like this film. I think it's, again, I like every single one of these movies we're going to talk about. And I think this is a good film, right in there.
All right. Giovanni, what do you think?
Well, my parents always say I love every movie. But Following was a big deal for me. Saw it in film school. I even wrapped my whole first movie around this concept in a sense. There's no like following, but you'll see if you ever see that. But basically, I thought the character of Cobb was very interesting. And that's a character name that he ends up adding into Inception way later, which we'll get into. But there's a lot of tropes here that end up echoing into his other movies. So you can see that there's like this genius in the works here, but you really see it unfold obviously in Memento, which is what Alex and even Nate has said that too. So but that's where I'm at with this. I think the movie was good, but it does feel like a film school movie. Usually film school movies always come with like a gunshot at the end or something like that, those little shorts and stuff. And there's always like some type of gun or somebody's tripping out in a party or something like that. And they have an existential crisis. So this was a little different, and I think that's why it stood out even at that time in the late 90s, because that probably would have been hard to like pop out at that time if you weren't Tarantino. Because this was literally right after Rodriguez, Kevin Smith, and Tarantino came out with Reservoir Dogs. So you had Reservoir Dogs, El Mariachi, and Clerks to go up. You got to go up against all that coming from England. So I think he did a great job. It's a psychological film too, a little bit in there as well, but not as much so as his other movies.
Yeah, this was a first time watch for me. This is straight. I love this movie. I absolutely love. I texted Nate the minute I finished this movie. I was like, "Yo, this movie is the shit." Like, I
First you asked
understand.
me if it was a silent film, and then you said you loved it.
I did.
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
loved it. Yeah, I thought it was silent because what happened is that my player was starting to crap out. So some of the audio, so I had to watch it on mono because it was weird. But anyway, I got to watch it. Yeah, pretty much. But this movie is really good. It reminded me of like a Twilight Zone episode. Very Twilight Zone. And I love that. I always love those type of weird, quirky type movies. And this, I was like, yo, me and my wife, we were watching this. And I was like, no freaking way. Like, I was screaming like through the whole time. And I was into it. I do understand what Nate is talking about. It's not like a polished movie. It's very like grainy, very like what's it, like rough edges a lot. I mean,
filmed on 16 millimeter. So there's, only so much you could do.
Pretty much like Evil Dead 1, right? It was 16 millimeter. And I mean, now 4K look great, but and that's the cool thing. I don't know. I always love student films like this if it makes sense and if it works. I'm like, it's great. I mean, I could put this movie up with a featured film and I'd be like, you know what? This will hold up way more than someone's featured crappy film that they spend like $100 million on with great actors and stuff. But I do agree.
I agree with that.
Huh?
I tend to agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is better than some people's fifth movie. So
yes,
it is what it is.
I mean, and that's how you can mark a great director. If his first movie could outwit someone that had like 5 featured films that are like $100 million on a budget of $2, I mean, there's nothing you can say with that. But yes, The Following, I'll recommend this to anyone. We're not telling you guys right now where we're ranking these movies. We're gonna do it at the end of the film. But you guys are saying some great stuff out here on The Following and everything. But Evan
Wacka didn't like it. Wacka said it was mediocre. Wacka the Butcher said it was mediocre.
Oh, he's in the live stream. Thanks for showing up,
welcome
buddy.
back.
Welcome.
He's been working, man. He's a working man.
Nah, it's okay.
And Evan didn't like it either. So we have 2 people who didn't care for it too much.
Yeah,
he said Evan said he's missing something. What happened, Giovanni?
Yeah, because following is kind of crazy in that way because it just goes to show that story matters, and this is kind of what you guys are always saying in so many ways is that story matters, and it trumps everything else. I mean, right off the bat, and it just it surpassed his movie and his budget in that sense that the story was so strong, and that's what it is, and that's what matters. Especially in a low budget movie like this. So.
I mean, me and Nate always preach that when we do our reviews is that if you could tell a good story with shitty actors and horrible green screen, people will love the movie. I mean, it'll be a cult classic, but if you don't give people what they want, it's not gonna go good. All right.
You gotta get the sound right though.
Well, yeah, you gotta get that. All right, here we go. The second movie that to me blew him up. I think it blew him up because this is the first movie that I saw of him, and it was Memento. Nate, what did you think of Memento when you first saw it?
No, you're 100. First of all, you're 100% correct. This was the one that put him on the map, not as A-list director, but as a known commodity in Hollywood. This was the one. This to me is the upgraded version of Following. If Following was, if Following's an iPhone 10, this is an iPhone 13. It's still an iPhone, right? Like it's to me, that's just my take on it. Like it has a lot of the same elements.
Huge upgrade.
It's told out of order. Like it has those minor
millimeter.
it has those minor elements that are similar, but it's like upgraded in almost every other way. Like you got a real cast now, right? We got Joey Pants, we got Guy Pearce, who by the way is amazing. Carrie Ann Moss,
Guy Pearce.
Mark Boone Jr. Like it's just it's a great film, very twisty turny. I love this film, and again, I just think it's you could see the progression from I have $18 and a 16 millimeter camera and 3 friends to make a movie, and now I have this didn't have a huge budget, but it was enough to make a proper film, and look at the difference. So I think it's fantastic.
Giovanni?
Oh yeah, I mean, with this movie, it was already showing you a bunch of his movies to come. I mean, just with the whole idea of juxtaposing different time frames again, and I've said this many times before to many people, and I'm going to keep saying it again. Time is, and I said it to you guys, and time is everything to do with movies, and his movies is all about time and the placement of it and all that. So, this was, for any filmmaker, this is like a gift. They say that about like Steven Spielberg movies. So here you go. This is how I felt about this one. I don't really have to say too much about the characters and everything. Everything to me was, for an indie film, this was past, a top 10 for anybody. It's definitely up there. It's not my top for me, but it definitely within the Nolan. But yeah, this was like a gift to the film gods, like from the film gods type of thing to film geeks.
No, I mean, I totally agree. When I first saw this on DVD, and I still have the DVD, the book. I think it's the special edition book.
I can't find it.
Yeah, I have that special edition. I was floored, and just like Nate said, it is just an upgraded The Following. I mean, you could literally see it, and it's okay. It's really okay, because there's movies that did the same thing, right? Evil Dead 1 to Evil Dead 2 is the same story, same shot, but just a better budget, more different, whatever, different story told. But this one's the same thing. He polished everything with higher gear, better actors, and you saw the results of what could have been, and I'll say this right now. If he wants to remake The Following with real actors and real locations and everything, he could pull it off. You could have Christian Bale as his main lead, and then have someone else, because he loves Christian Bale. So you have him as the main lead, and it's good to go. And
Matthew Slime Ball as the other character.
Matthew McConaughey. I can see that. Yeah, you can see that.
Matthew McConaughey playing that. You see,
Anne Hathaway could play the girl.
Following needs to be remade. Following could definitely be remade, but I saw something online about Memento being remade instead.
No.
I'll pass on that.
Now that we're on this topic, I was looking on IMDb. I think I saw something about that. So I could be wrong, and I'm getting my emotions getting the best of me here, but I don't think his movie, that at least Memento, doesn't need to be remade. Maybe Following, if he did it,
it'll be something
made
cool.
$48,000. That if you want to remake a movie that made $48,000, go for it.
Yeah,
this movie is fine.
That's the thing. He's not going to want to do it. He's not going to want to remake his first movie, let alone I would think that he wouldn't want to make Memento. I think it's on there for the sake of it, or maybe they're trying to turn it into a TV series.
I don't want him to remake any of his movies.
No. I'm just saying, like, out of all his movies, I would have loved to see him remake that one, and I bet you he would make like $500 million off that original movie.
All of a sudden, though, they'd go to space.
Yeah, they go to space.
Find a way to go to space, and there'd be a robot in it. Yeah.
No, but look, overall, Memento's an excellent movie. You guys should check it out if you have not checked it out. It's very, very well told story, camera shots, everything is so well. All right, third on the list. This one, oh my God, threw me for a loop. I did not even know Christopher Nolan directed this movie until then. All right, Insomnia, the late Robert Williams, Al Pacino. Nate, what did you think when you first saw it?
Hilary Swank.
Oh, Hilary
listen,
Swank. Yeah.
I'll be honest. Insomnia is the movie. This is the movie in the Nolan filmography that no one has seen, or that no one knows he made. Alex, you summed it up. You are most people in this scenario. I have so many friends who I'm like, oh yeah, tonight on the show, we're gonna go over Nolan movies. And they're like, oh, I love The Dark Knight, I love Inception. And then they're like, which ones? And I'm like, Insomnia. They're like, I don't even know what that is. And it's just, it is what it is. And if you look at and if you look at the Blu-ray case, right? Clearly they put it out later because it says like from the director of The Dark Knight. And let's cash in now. To me, this is equivalent to like what The Faculty is for Robert Rodriguez, where it's like he made it, but it's not fully him. This feels, and it's not bad. Don't Insomnia is a good film. Don't get me wrong. Borderline very good film, but it just feels like more of a gun for hire kind of movie than like one that he really. It doesn't feel as Nolan-y as any of his other movies. I'll leave it at that. Even Following feels more like a Nolan film than this. This just feels like a really, really good adult thriller. But still, I think he's incapable of making trash. So even at that, I like it. I think it's a very good movie.
All right,
great
Giovanni,
performance.
what did you think?
Ironically, for me, this was my first to the Nolan universe in the whole grand scheme of things. I thought this one looked really good in black and white, but I thought this was crazy. I was a big fan of Robin Williams growing up as a kid, so I saw this in my cousin's house or something, and they had rented it, and I popped it in the middle of the night of me going to sleep. So it was creepy enough watching this movie that somebody couldn't sleep. So at some point I fell asleep after the credits rolled. But it's a great thriller. If you're not trying to think that it's a Nolan movie, because that's why Following feels obviously like more of a Nolan film. This one does not. It's more of Warner Brothers. I feel like they're like testing him, because they curate. Another one I want to bring up is Kubrick. Kubrick has a bad couple first, like his first movie is bad. Like it's horrible. I don't feel like my movie was all that great either. And I had to battle with a title off of Rocky. You know what I'm saying? So, so I feel like this is them testing him. He was able to deal with a real budget, from a studio like Nate was pointing out, basically. He has a real budget he's got to deal with. He's got to deal with Warner Brothers. They want to see him throughout all that. This is like a business choice. This is not even a movie anymore. Yeah. This is a remake. So somebody pointed out here with the Fallout, it was Robert Makes a Cut, man. Yeah, good pointing that out, because a lot of people don't even know this is a remake too.
Oh,
I didn't even know that.
That's right. Yeah. I knew that, but I didn't.
I know you know that, Nate.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. He doesn't remake nothing else,
Alex, did you know?
I did not know that, but let me just tell you, this is the first time me watching this movie, and another movie that I freaking love. I love this movie. I mean, I know right now Evan says that Insomnia is a great film, but shows his weakness in direction. I don't know. And honestly, it's his fast cuts. But the weird thing about so many fast cuts and close-ups, first of all, he has an editor, so it's not him sitting down editing movies. He just directs the movies, and the whole close-up, that's just him telling the camera operator what camera lenses to put on. So if you have beef,
what I want to, I don't remember that.
By Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I don't remember too much fast cuts in this movie.
I don't remember. That's what I'm saying.
Close-ups. I'm not sure what he's referring to.
There's with the whole Insomnia thing and stuff like that, but it's very it'll cut to imagine the birds in the Prestige where it'd be flapping really fast.
Okay.
And then just away to Al Pacino's face, and it's a lot of those weird juxtaposing cuts in the scene.
We ain't talking Tony Scott here. Evan made it sound like it's a Tony Scott film.
Yeah. But it wasn't like that. It was used more of the mind's eye of Al Pacino and him not being able to sleep and all that stuff, and where he's at. But that I see but the way that is pointed out here, it sounds like a Tony Scott thing, but it's not.
No, but
crazy fast.
He undercranks. What he's doing is undercranking the film camera. He's doing a whole other.
No, but what. I love this movie. I'm definitely buying this on Blu-ray, and I know, hopefully, they're never going to get a 4K, because I asked Nate, he was like, it's never happening. But what it reminded me of the X-Files. If you watch the X-Files TV show, those camera angles, the car is on, the camera's on the side, and the Jeep is driving from a distance, and it goes across the camera. It had, these cool camera angles that reminded me of, 90s TV show, thriller shows. And it felt just very, I don't know, it just felt so awesome, this movie.
Say it again, Alex. Say it again, Alex, because you want to say it. You want to say Twilight Zone.
Yes, it was a Twilight Zone.
It
was very
Twilight. The whole thing with Twilight Zone was the whole morality. It's a morality play for the most part. So, and I knew Alex was gonna like this when we did the Michael Mann, and you loved Manhunter.
Oh, dude, that's my shit.
But this is in the same genre.
It does,
right?
It's my favorite of you guys.
He's not a serial killer, but he's a killer. And it has the double storyline of Al Pacino with the internal affairs, and then trying to catch this guy. And then Robin Williams is fantastic in this movie, by the way. If you only have seen him do comedies, watch this.
Yeah,
he's really, really good at it. And
it'll give you nightmares. It'll give you nightmares a little bit if you like Mrs. Doubtfire. You go into this right after.
No, but again, if you guys have not seen it, check this movie out, Insomnia. You know, it reminded me a little bit of Stallone's I See You, if you guys ever heard it. I kept raving about it. Check it out, I See You, Stallone. It has the same type of premise, but that one takes place in Antarctica. It's pretty cool. But anyway, let's get to the next one on the list. Now, this is when my man became blockbuster, because the next movie is Batman Begins, starring Christian Bale, Ra's al Ghul played by Liam Neeson. All right, Nate, what did you think when you first saw this movie?
Yeah, so this one this one does not require much talking from us because everyone has seen this film.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
When I first saw it, so of course you guys know I had the Batman photo. Like, Batman's my favorite superhero, so I love this movie. I saw this at the theater. This came out in 2005, so I had just graduated high school. This came out summer 2005. I saw this, I don't know, three or four times at the movies. I absolutely loved it. I think it's a great origin movie. And that's it. I mean, there's not much, it has a great cast. And this was the movie that started the sort of Nolan regulars. Like, from this movie on, almost every movie had someone from the movie before it in it, pretty much, for the most part. So yeah, I think this is it's a great comic book movie. Period. Not my favorite of the Nolan Batman movies, but a fantastic start. I will definitely say that.
All right, Giovanni, what do you think when you first saw the begins of Batman?
Well, obviously a huge Batman fan. I'm a DC fan over Marvel any day, but I do watch all the Marvel movies, so I keep up and jump. But getting on, I'm all about it with Alex here on DC, like hard. But basically, with Nate here, I need to go with you on that because I did see this in high school. I didn't graduate till 2006 though, so I think you're a little older than I am. But
one whole year, baby. One whole year.
Yeah, basically. So when I saw this, I was like a junior in high school. So after my junior year, I went to work at Hollywood Video. So I saw this come out like in theaters. I remember seeing the trailer in high school, and I was floored, man. This was the only one close to the comics that I've ever seen, the darkest one I've ever seen, obviously. But it still was very Nolan, regal, all that stuff. I felt like the Batman was a lot closer to the comics per se. Yeah, man, like this, hands down, the Tumblr, everything. Like I gawked at this. I knew this was gonna be huge because I watched Insomnia, and I think this was right before when I saw the trailer. I went and watched Memento because that's when you start. You're like, oh my God, a movie I want to see for this guy. I just started getting into film around my junior year, and I fell into Nolan. Nolan was easy to fall into because he was the newest coming out, so it was quick. I saw all his movies. I even saw Following, I think, around that time. So, especially because I was working at Hollywood Video. If you remember what that was, it was like Blockbuster. But they saw that way quicker than Blockbuster did.
I used to rent video games from there. I used to rent video games from Hollywood.
Oh, the video games? Oh, they had the best video game section. I remember that Xbox and all that. I remember the Xbox Batman Begins game, Constantine game. Warner Brothers had it good with me, at least for a minute there in 2005, I would think. But yeah, hands down, this is Michael Caine came from this to all of his movies. And you start seeing little by little people here and there that you wouldn't expect being in his next movie, and then he just shows up because you rewatched it, Yeah. So I mean, it's a bunch of things coming out of this one, and like I said, and I was leading up to this from Insomnia. So he's just starting with the big budgets and dealing with the big animal of Hollywood, and now they gave him this, and now this is not only a test. This is like, let's see a result now. Let's put this guy on a real train that can go somewhere, Yep. So here you go. That's how they did it. I love Warner Brothers for that. I mean, I don't know how they're going through a lot of changes now. So, I mean, as a teenager growing up, Warner Brothers always looked to me as this. But, Chris Nolan's not with Warner Brothers anymore.
Right.
Universal
got his next movie.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of this movie, when I saw the trailer, I said, "Holy guacamole!" I went crazy. I was like, "Holy shit, this thing is awesome!" I was like, "This thing is awesome." We went to see it in theater. I was like, "Holy crap!" Came out. I was like, "Yo, I'm loving this thing." I was like, "This thing is awesome," right? I will say this from the following. Well, Batman Begins, I will say, made Christopher Nolan a better director. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't care what anyone says. Those IMAX cameras made him a way better director. If you see from the following all the way up to Batman Begins, everything looks better. Yeah. Now he's just like he is very spot on. Look, this movie is awesome. You get to see the origins of the Batman. It's told in a different light. Everyone got used to the whole Joe Schumacher color shit. He was like, no, we're gonna make this dude real life, and this is the way we're gonna make it. And I thought it worked perfectly. I was like, yo, this thing is awesome. But yeah, this is an A+. And rewatching it, because I haven't seen this movie in years because of Christian Bale. And I said, let me go back and watch it. And I went, this is an awesome freaking movie. And it's still an awesome movie. And I liked it. It was awesome. All right. Next on the list.
It was awesome. I loved it, and it was awesome.
I loved it. It was awesome. Next movie.
Awesome. Next movie.
This is the first time I watched this also. The Prestige.
Oh,
really?
The Magician. Yeah. First time watching me. So Nate.
You got a strike on there for me on this one. This is my top.
This is pretty good.
Definitely favorite for me.
Oh, wow. Nate, what did you think of Prestige?
Listen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted you to do the whole motion and everything. Do Nate first, because I like hearing what he's got to say. It's cool.
I love this movie. This was listen. This was another one. I saw this one. I was 19 when this came out. So, listen. My journey with films began when I was young. I've told the story here just because my grandma used to take me to see everything. And then now at this point, I have my own car. I got my own job. Now it's up to me to see what I want to see. And I saw the trailer for this, and I was like, bro, like that guy was just I didn't know Christian Bale. When I was 19, I only knew him from Batman. You know what I mean? I didn't see The Machinist. I didn't know, he was a kid actor. Like, I didn't know nothing. And I'm like, that's Batman.
So you're like, Wolverine, Batman in a movie. I gotta see this.
I said, oh, shoot. It's going to be an action movie with magicians. And that's what I thought. And then
you're going to make this cute girls disappear.
Yeah. They're going to saw them in half for real, and they're going to fight. They're going to use magic powers.
Action movie with magic.
Now, with that being said, like Doctor Strange, they're going to throw piano notes at each other. So, with that being said, it's not that. Obviously, it's not that. But wow, what if it's look? I'm gonna let him go because I know you just said it was like his favorite one. I think it's great. I think I love the production design in this. And the funny thing is, rewatching it now, like I haven't seen it in years. This was one of those movies that I want to say from 2006 to like 2010, I had watched a lot. It was one of those like almost like it became like almost a background movie. But I literally haven't seen it in like 10 years. So rewatching it now as an older adult, I appreciated a lot of other things now that I didn't appreciate when I was younger. And knowing the ending, it makes it a different watch as well. The whole thing. A little Sixth Sense-y to me, you know what I mean? Because there's kind of a twist at the end. And watching it with that knowledge, it's just even more like a rich movie in my opinion. So I think from a storytelling perspective, it's great. Again, we get out of order, so it falls in line with the Mementos and the following. Like as far as it's not told sequentially, you know what I mean? And yeah, David Bowie's in this. Andy Serkis is in it. Scarlett Johansson, fine. Great. I love this movie. It's great.
Michael Caine.
Oh, Michael Caine's fine too.
Of course,
he's fine.
He's fine, man. That guy's great. So yes, I love this movie. I think it's fantastic.
All right, Joe.
Always, any other movie, I needed Michael Caine in there. Like,
I agree.
Don't rob me of Michael Caine, please.
It's
like Morgan Freeman. It's like you can't be robbed of Morgan Freeman either when you can get him.
Right.
So,
I agree.
But no, I didn't mean to take the reins on this one with this movie, but to me, this kind of definitely like sums up movie making as a whole for me. When I did see this, it was shocking. I did see this in 2 parts when I first saw it. I watched it in theaters. So like we went to see it. I went with my cousin, something happened, I forget, and then we had to get a rain check and then go leave, and we came back. So we rewatched the beginning part just to watch the rest of it. So to rewatch the beginning part again was good in the sense of like seeing all the clues and everything like that, and you were able to put things together once we got to the end. But once we got to the end, I wasn't as shocked, but I was shocked because he's such a phenomenal filmmaker that no matter how many times you view this, you are going to see different things, but you can see that he's hidden, you know, the whole plot, the whole, you know, magic trick from you as a whole. And he does this again in Inception. But it's just the way he constructs the story with his brothers and Jonathan Nolan. And this is going on now. I'm going to go dive in deep on that writing. Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan, them two just even being brothers. I could just imagine the conversations they're having, you know, and they probably watch Twilight Zone to like the ends of the earth, you know, and I'm just barely catching up on the original series. I'm like rewatching the first season again, having seen like 3 of them. But basically, this one also is like the epitome of filmmaking as a whole, you know, and the way they break down magic here is basically filmmaking. And filmmaking is like essentially magic in that, so to speak. But you see him then do it again in Insomnia, so we'll get into that later. But I love this film.
Yeah, no, this movie, let me tell you, I was like, what is this? I was like, what is this? And then once I started to watch it, I said, what is this? And let me tell you, when this thing finished, I said, mother effer just slapped me in the face with another Twilight Zone episode.
Oh, yes, sir, he did.
Let me tell you, remember the scene in Bruise Brothers when they go to the church and the light hits him? And he goes, I see the light. Every time I see Christopher Nolan movie, I'm getting slapped with this stuff because this is another great movie that I freaking love. The ending was a little throwing me off, and I said, wait a minute. I was like, this guy got me. And I loved it. I said, this dude, Nolan. If I ever see Nolan in the streets, I'm going to hug this dude. I don't care if I get hit with bodyguards.
You are now set forth. Now you are set forth on the mission, man, that Christopher Nolan is a great filmmaker. And that's what it is. He's the next Spielberg, man. And that's what he is to us. But it's the cloud. It's the, what is it? All the streaming and everything like that. It's all the noise that's going on with the amount of movies and stuff coming out. It's hard to know who's good and who's not anymore.
Well, well, this guy just proved that he could just put together a movie with magicians, and it's so freaking good, right? He did an Insomnia thing. A dude can't fucking sleep, and it was awesome, right? You're going, oh my God, a dude that can't remember shit, awesome.
Yes, sir.
Right? Like, and that's the cool thing. Like, each of these movies have like different weird traits, but the movie is so well put together, whether it's writing, acting, directing. But again, that's the prestige. Again, you have not seen this. It's just like Nate said. It's an action movie with magic. No, it's not. It's not.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
But, no,
it's more like an action movie for the mind, but
yeah, pretty much. But okay, so that was the prestige. We gave you some 1998 to 2006. Now we're gonna get to the next list of movies. Okay, we got from 2008 all the way up to 2014 Interstellar. So with that, enjoy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here tonight's entertainment. Well, hello, beautiful. You look nervous.
I've seen now what have to become to stop men like him.
The night is darkest just before the dawn.
Mr. Cobb has a job offer he would like to discuss with you.
Like a work placement?
Not exactly. We create the world of the dream. We bring the subject into that dream, and they fill it with their secrets.
Then you break in and steal it.
Well, it's not strictly speaking legal.
The mayor's moved on in the spring. Really? But he's a hero, a war hero. This is peacetime.
You think this can last? Storm coming this way.
Dad, why did you name me after something that's bad?
No, we didn't.
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law doesn't mean that something bad will happen. It means that whatever can happen will happen. We must confront the reality that nothing in our solar system can help us. Now you need to tell me which planet is to save the world.
All right, so there you have it. Let's start it off with the 2008 mega hit, everyone's number one list of the Batman, blah, 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 blah. The Dark Knight. Nate, what did you think when you saw The Dark Knight in the theater for the first time?
Yeah, loved it. Loved it. This is another one I saw, I don't know how many times in the theater, a bunch. I'm going to say 4. I'm going to say 4. And the IMAX was incredible. This was the first IMAX experience that I had that was an IMAX experience, if that makes sense. Okay. I had seen a couple movies in IMAX. This is the first time I felt like I was watching something different, you know, with the IMAX. Utilize the IMAX cameras and the shifting aspect ratios and all that. Listen, this is in my top 25 favorite movies of all time. If that informs anything of where I'm going to rank it, there you have it. I don't care. I love this film. I think it has the greatest comic book villain performance in a movie ever, period. I don't care. There's other great ones. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everyone else sucks and this one's great. I'm saying there's a bunch of great ones and this one is greatest in my opinion. I love this movie, and I'll let you guys go.
Go ahead, Giovanni. Take it over.
I kind of agree. I mean, I have to agree with this is like the best Batman movie of all time, I would have to say. My sister was like huge testament to this. I mean, I saw this in theaters like twice. I'm sure everybody else did. And my sister now recently, it was kind of funny with this whole Nolan thing is that I ended up watching this movie on a big 4K screen with a little sound bar. So it was like has surround sound and stuff like that with my cousin for the first time. It was his first time watching all the Nolan Batman movies. So we were going through all of them and she sat down to watch it with us, The Dark Knight, because the Joker, Heath Ledger's her favorite villain. But yeah, he made villains like this big thing in cinema. Like for like a big minute there, it's just heroes. Like, you know, we want the bad guys to like suffer, you know, but now it's not like we want to see the bad guys suffer. We just want a really good bad guy, you know, and that makes a good hero. And that is what is very important in any storytelling, you know, known to man. I mean, it's like that in books and even when you do lyrics in a song, if there's a bad guy in there, you better have a good bad guy, you know, because then the climbing the whole mountain thing means nothing for Batman and for you as a person, you know, watching it. So, but damn, this movie was like, yeah, hands down,
game changer.
A game
comic
changer.
book movie wise, yeah.
No, but and a huge game changer for his career, of course. Now this was like, I don't think he gets like final cut yet. I don't know if he does or not. But he probably does with Universal. Maybe he's getting that, you know. But I'm sure Netflix was giving him that too. There was a lot of like deals going out. I watched a lot of like John Campea as well too. Yeah. And they talk a lot of those deals and things like that sometimes. But basically, he's dealing with that. So I don't know if he got that after this, but I'm sure after this they weren't so, you know, like against what he wanted, you know, and his plans. So yeah, The Prestige was like another like indie film. It felt like almost like following. And I love that because in between these Batman movies, we get like gems. We get these beautiful gems, which is our next one. So yeah.
Yeah. No. Great movie.
Here we go, Alex. Here we go.
Great movie.
You know,
all right, so the next movie.
Come on, Nate. Don't ruin it for me.
The next
Come on,
movie.
Alex.
We got what? Inception? Next comes up.
Times, and I just enjoy hearing Alex's take because like as a filmmaker, you lose all that
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to hear a stupid take. Come on, Alex, let's hear it.
There's no stupid take. No, look, in terms of The Dark Knight is an excellent movie.
Also a great director.
He just hates his voice.
No, look, after doing the rewatch, the movie is fantastic. It's an excellent movie. I just cannot stand, and I still cannot stand Christian Bale's Batman voice. It is horrible. It is one of the worst. I don't care what anyone tells me. Yeah, it is fucking horrible, and I cannot stand it. Like Joker, look, the Joker scenes were all great. The whole movie is shot beautifully. I love the IMAX scenes under the Chicago Bridge. They bring it all the way out. It's just, and the scenes with the motorcycle. That shit is all awesome. The minute he puts on that damn bat suit and he starts talking, the people of Gotham. He sounded like Cookie Monster. I was like, what is this shit? I couldn't take it. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can say. I'm not saying it's a horrible movie.
No, you're good.
Not. I'm just saying.
I just like messing with you because you literally hate it so much it cracks me up.
I hate him as Batman.
He said that, and I'm gonna help him. I'm gonna help Alex with that too.
I'm gonna help you.
He needs it a little bit. Does like this, like swoop upper lip, you know. So with that, it really feels like, man, maybe under him, somebody's like on the other side of the camera getting spit on by.
It is. And then the thing
Bale,
that makes it worse is that the cowl is so close to his lip that he's just like
everything else.
He's like, "Oh, Gotham."
Swear to me.
There we go.
Did you say that? You put that on, man. That's what
Wait, play it again.
Swear to me.
Swear to me.
That's too.
That sounds awesome. I don't know
That
what
was
you're
from the
talking
first
about.
movie.
That sounds awesome.
That's from the first movie.
Yeah, I love that.
The first movie, he sounded great.
Yeah,
he
when
sounded
he's
great in the
holding
first
the
movie.
upside down.
The second movie was a little
Like
suspect.
The falafel, man. You like the falafel upside down?
Oh,
The
Moon
falafel.
Jr. I hate that part. He got like food in his beard. It creeps me out. All right, let's go.
Look, overall, Dark Knight is a fantastic film in the Batman series. But yeah, all right. So here we go. Next movie, it's a little movie called Inception. This is again a mind-jolting, mind-fucking movie. Nate, what did you think when you first saw Inception?
Well, you know, we just reviewed this over on the Action Movie Guys podcast. So if you don't already follow, make sure you follow the Action Movie Guys podcast. We just reviewed this. So I'm not going to go into big detail because I feel like I just talked about this movie last week. What I will say is
Spotify and Apple
podcast.
Yeah, podcast, Apple podcast they're on. So
yeah, we're on
heard
Spotify.
it. You guys got to hear it too. Like,
it's really good. And we talk about this movie. We break it down. What I will say is this is from here on is where he reached his creative pinnacle, I feel like, from this movie on. As far as inventive story ideas and things like that. So I love this movie. I love Leonardo DiCaprio, my second favorite actor today working.
Everybody's favorite, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to make a movie with my favorite actor. Like if Denzel is ever in a Christopher Nolan movie, I'll die happy. But until then, I got Leo in one, so that was pretty great. And it's got action, it's got a mind-bending story, amazing cast. Again, yeah, it's a great movie. But if you want to hear like my full, go check out the podcast. I ain't reviewing it again. Go check it out.
All right, Giovanni, what did you think of Inception?
Well, Inception, like I was saying before, it's like he was always building to something, right? You know, if you ever see the making of this, he's always talking about how things had to ascend and ascend and ascend, and just like leveled it up basically constantly. So he kept writing this movie supposedly all the way since like Following, you know, and he's had this movie in the back of his pocket for like ever, you know. It's like he was testing Hollywood now in a weird way. You know, now that he did The Dark Knight, which I was, just so shocked. I'm just going to point out here is another thing that directors don't get. Not only do they, get lucky to have like awesome films throughout and they're all rated very good and highly rated and stuff like that, but to be able to jump from The Dark Knight after it doing so well and then leaving that and then going to do some other movie even with your same studio, is unheard of. Okay?
Yeah.
Sam Raimi had the same issue after Spider-Man 2. So we have Spider-Man 1, fantastic movie. Spider-Man 2 is great. And then Spider-Man 3 sucks ass. And why does it? Because he couldn't make Drag Me to Hell. He couldn't let the guy just make Drag Me to Hell and then come back with Spider-Man 3 to make billions. No, Sony did not like that. They weren't about all that. It's all about money at some point. So yeah, hands down, this is a phenomenal movie. Again, touches on filmmaking again. He talks about how like you present the dream and then you basically are helping people fill their subconscious in there and all that junk. That's movies, man. That's movies for you. So as you're watching this movie, you're filling your subconscious with Cobb, which is Leonardo DiCaprio. Again, Cobb, same character name. He brought it again into this, which is interesting because I guess like fans that get into this, like myself, they probably see this for the first time, younger viewers around that time, and then they go back and they watch following, you know. But yeah, this is hands down. It's about filmmaking. Any movie that's like about film in different levels and then have different good characters too outside of that too, without like, oh, this is how filmmaking works. This is a camera, this is mics and all this junk, you know. But this is how a filmmaker tells a storyteller to like a filmmaker.
Yeah,
right here.
Makes sense.
Nolan does it. Memento, Prestige, Inception. To me, those are like the trilogy of the mind, of the Nolan mind, I guess you can say, you know.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I get it. Look, me and Nate broke this down last episode, so I'm not going to go all crazy, but this movie is fantastic. I loved it. It still holds up after all these years. It's what, 12 years?
2 IMAX viewings for me.
2 IMAX. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen it once.
You had to.
Yeah, you had to. But yeah, it's a fantastic movie. You guys have not seen Inception. Check it out. It's a very mind-bending movie. Has a lot of great actors. Tom Hardy. Pretty much everyone that's going to be in the next movie that we're going to talk about. And that movie is...
Let's get some Joseph Gordon-Levitt here. Yeah.
Here we go. So The Dark Knight Rises, 2012. Nate, what did you think?
Okay. So this might... Well, not really a... You know what? It's not a hot take or anything like that. But what I will say is I am in the... I don't know if I'm in the minority anymore. But when it came out, I was in the firm minority that I absolutely love this movie. Honestly, and I still do. I don't think, for me, now, obviously, you know, subjective, we all know. For me, this is not a huge notch below The Dark Knight to me, personally. I think Tom Hardy as Bane is fantastic. I mean, I love Tom Hardy. I love his performance. I think Anne Hathaway was a great casting choice for Catwoman, personally. The only person in this that I didn't... No, actually, I liked everybody. I just hate the way Marion Cotillard dies. It's the only scene in this movie that I just absolutely hate when she dies. I laugh every time. Like, why did he let this be on film? Why didn't they reshoot it? It's terrible. Other than that, it's a little bloated. Like, it's a little long. But besides that, I think it's fantastic. I personally love this movie. Yeah, it's right up there. I think the trilogy, and this was, this was like, as far as what Giovanni keeps going back with, with the studios and stuff, this was in that phase. If you look from Batman Begins to Interstellar, it is really a very much a one for me, one for you deal he had with Warner Brothers, right? Like, okay, they said, hey, Batman Begins, amazing. He said, all right, let me make this magic movie with these magicians who want to battle each other and stuff. They said, okay, you could do it. It was a success. They said, all right, we need another Batman movie. He said, all right, I'll make your Batman movie. I'll make it one of the best. Let me make my sci-fi movie about going into people's dreams and their subconscious. And that no one gets that movie made, except if you make The Dark Knight right before. Then he comes out with this. This crossed $1 billion. Like, this was the highest grossing of the movies. And they said, okay. He said, I want to make a movie about a guy who goes to space and goes through wormholes. And they said, fine, make what you want. So it's a very interesting 6 kind of movies, because every other one is a comic book movie, and you could tell that those were for Warner, and the other 3 were very much for him. and somehow he found a way to make the ones that are for the studio also fantastic because he's just that good.
Yeah.
And so that's my 2 cents. I love this movie. I think it's great.
Yeah, Giovanni, what do you think?
Well, I'm kind of glad that somebody else likes this movie other than me because I'm a
Maybe
fan.
we start the minority still.
Yeah. I mean, I get the whole bloated thing and stuff like that, but you had to really feel him not being around and all that junk. But we didn't see him get into the Batman suit till really way later, I guess, from what I remember, because like I watched all his other movies after this because I watched the Batman movies first with my cousin, rewatching it. So I remember all the other the ones for him more.
Yeah.
The ones for him feel like they're for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And for us.
Mm-hmm.
So no, and I feel the same way. The Prestige was made by Disney with their Touchstone company, which I don't think they have Touchstone anymore now that they have 20th Century.
That's true.
Now, you know. But then Paramount did Interstellar. But you could see that here in The Dark Knight Rises, like he wrote this and he did this. And wait, did he do this with Jonathan Nolan too?
Yes.
Yeah, he wrote it with him. Okay, yeah, I see it here. You wrote it with him. So, and that's the thing, like, you know, I feel like they were both burnt out, essentially, because I think Jonathan Nolan's a phenomenal writer. He went on ahead and did a movie. He wrote a movie called The Invisible. I don't remember it too well, but I don't remember that doing very well either. Whenever he goes on his own, it seems like he doesn't do as well. But then Westworld. I love Westworld. I don't know if people watching that. So him and his wife are doing Westworld. And then Chris Nolan and his wife produces all these movies we're seeing, by the way.
Yeah, Emma
So
Thomas.
she's been backing him up on all this. So when he left Warner Brothers to do Prestige, I'm sure there was a talk with Warner Brothers, or at least a signed deal beforehand, before the Batman thing happened, that he can go and do something else afterwards, just one more probably, and then come back, you know? So that's my piece on this. I think this is a phenomenal movie. It was based off of a book that is not a Batman movie, but I can't recall the name of it right now. Maybe Nate knows this, but doesn't know the name of it. Maybe not. I don't know. But he's probably like
I don't know how to
myself,
read,
that I can't
so I
remember
don't
the
know.
name. Huh?
I said, I don't know how to read, so I don't know if it's based off a book.
Yeah. I mean, movies are like books nowadays in the sense, because I feel like people are so into TikTok and short form content and stuff like that, that this is like the bloated movie to everybody else as well. But to me and you, we see greatness in there. We see a lot more. And then when
just
you're
so you know, Giovanni, well, as far as, because I thought the Prestige, so domestically Touchstone, but international Warner Brothers. I think they were involved.
Yeah.
They were involved in.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
it was
all the movies.
Oh, right.
So,
You're so right.
Yeah. So, you know,
Yes,
that's
sir.
what I mean. So they partnered up with maybe they were like, hey, we're scared of this magician movie. We'll let Touchstone work with us. But Warner Brothers was in on all of them.
Yeah. We'll put this amount, but whatever you need to reach to make it, that's how they do it.
And they got to be kicking themselves, because then they ended up all being big time earners. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They don't want. Yeah, the thing with Hollywood, they do those type of things. It's like they test you and they see if you could even do it. And I guess that's maybe how Inception happened. They were like, well, we don't want him to do another Prestige that doing pretty good, and it's just this cheaper movie than Batman, and we could make more with the cheaper movie. That's usually how it is.
And everyone in the chat is saying The Tale of Two Cities is the book.
There you go, sir.
Shout out to Angelina. Alex, how come you didn't know? Does she know this? You should.
She reads.
She told you. She knows how to read.
She knows how to read.
Like,
that's why the wives are the producers and the men do the camera work.
You hear that? You see? I'm glad I played it out. I laid it out for everybody.
She should have texted you on the side.
Yeah, my wife is the producer of
you would have
this
sounded
show.
mad smart.
Yeah, the wife is the producer of this show. I'm just the guy behind the camera. Look, in terms of Dark Knight Rises, now this is going to be very shocking for everyone. I swear to God, I thought I saw this movie.
This was a first time watch?
This was a first time watch.
Wow.
Whoa,
I swear, yeah. Me and my wife sat here,
Even
and
after
when
all the news,
I
news
never
that happened around this, you didn't even. Maybe that was the why you did.
I swear to God, I thought I walked out on this movie because I was like, man, I think I walked out. I remember hating Bane seeing the trailer. And I was like, man, isn't the movie? And my wife was like, we never even went to see this in the theater. So I was like, shit, I made this shit up. Someone went in Inception on my ass. Put in shit. So anyway, this was the first time watch for me. And we're here watching it. And I enjoyed the shit out of this movie. And I don't know if it's because he was not Batman for the entire movie. It was just straight Bruce Wayne all hurt and like decrepit and had a vertebrae that was dislocated and all this shit. But I think, and I know it's going to be a hot take and people are going to curse me out or snip it. This movie, I think, is way better than The Dark Knight in terms of story. Not villains. Not villains.
Well, I'm expecting something, but damn.
Not villains. I know a lot of people are putting it as their number one with the Heath Ledger and all this bologna sandwich.
Look, some people like Batman Begins the best. So it just, you know,
get to that one
matter
too.
of taste. Yeah.
That is me. I like Batman Begins the best. My sister rides on me with that. She says The Dark Knight's the best. I also think that The Dark Knight Rises is one of the better stories.
I think it's a better story told, but I think what The Dark Knight does very well is that the villain is very well established with Batman, where Bane is not. Bane never went toe-to-toe. I mean, he does fight him, but what annoyed me is that, again, there's different versions of Bane, so I keep harping on the one that he has to pump the venom, and he's dumb, and he's stupid, because I'm like, this dude is not even a mastermind. So I was like, what is this? But
no, this guy's like this terrorist or something.
Yeah, so I felt like, and he was raised as a Ra's al Ghul, and he was taught by the league. I was like, what is this? It's like, this is not the Bane I know. Yeah,
well, the real Bane in the comics is a genius, though.
He is a genius, but he wasn't a fighter. But anyway, so I was a little annoyed. I was like, this is so crazy. So anyway, but I liked it. I said, you know what? It's a movie. I'm going to let it go with it. This is Nolan's version of Bane. I said, it is what it is. Talia al Ghul, I was like, oh my God. I was like, she was really good. She suckered him, and he was like, what? When she stabbed him, he said, what are you doing? And I was like, oh my God. My favorite scene, which me and my wife laughed, and she hates it now, is when Catwoman goes, is this a car? And he goes, it's not a car.
Oh, the plane?
Yeah, the bat plane, the Blat.
Yeah.
So today when we were going to the supermarket, I was like, get in the car.
This isn't a car.
Yeah.
That's what he says. This isn't a car.
This isn't a car. So I tell her every time we get in the car now, I was like, get in the car.
last thing from me on this movie, in my opinion, for me, my favorite Batman intro scene of any of, like, the first time Batman in suit comes on screen in this movie, I think was better than either of the first two movies.
I agree. I agree.
I was hyped. Like when he came out, I was literally hyped.
Yeah. Well, they built it. They built it. They haven't seen him in like 8 years.
Two other movies, and I was still like, I'm so excited to see this part. It was great.
Well, the cool thing about this movie that other Batman movies never establish at all, and I think why I gravitate to this one a lot, is that Bruce Wayne was never Batman for 8 years. Like, Gotham was just getting destroyed. He just didn't give a shit. And I was just like, yo, this is crazy. And I thought this would have been a perfect opportunity, which I kind of understand why Nolan didn't do it, but I thought this would have been a perfect opportunity to have Nightwing take over for Batman.
Already, yeah.
And then, and then while throughout that whole year is Nightwing somehow, and then Nightwing gets captured by Bane, and then Batman has to come back out to rescue him. That would have been fucking crazy. But
comic booky, I think.
It would have been.
It was a little more real. A little more realism in his movie. So
I guess he would have been get in the car.
It's out of his sensibility. Although the Nightwing would have been out of his sensibilities at the end of the whole movie, and having that tease. I mean, that's more in his sensibilities. Even the Bane thing. If he would have made Bane more into a brute, I think that would have been slightly better instead of making him smart. But then again, that's not Christopher Nolan's sensibilities because he's thinking about the whole thing. They're thinking about the marketing and all that stuff. Think about the whole marketing with the Joker and the Dark Knight. That changed everything. That changed marketing for movies too. It was like an inclusive marketing. So I think a lot of that too, and people were like getting Bane marketing like that too as well. But between us three here, guys, like I feel like we like this Batman a lot because have you seen the old black and white TV show of Batman?
Like the 60s one?
Yeah, no. Black and white. Like
the one with the ears are like this?
I mean, like the old, 1940s. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen an episode, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, I grew up with that. When I was a kid, I used to go to sleep to a couple episodes of that. You know, right before bed, I would fall asleep to watch an episode, and then fall asleep. You know, to like a tape that they gave me from Cuba, from family through Cuba and stuff like that. So I was like 5 years old watching that.
Well, the question I had for you guys is, I should have rewinded it. What was the name of Jordan Gorvy-Levitt's character? I know his name was Blake, but what was his actual name?
At the very end, he said Robin. His real name is Robin. It was like a little, I think it was like more of an Easter egg than anything.
His name was Robin. Oh, that kind of makes sense. He was an orphan, and Bruce Wayne paid. Okay, all right. Oh, get on me,
it was just a little cute little,
cute little cop instead, you know.
All right.
So he kind of to fight crime.
All right. I mean, that makes sense. Whatever. It is what it is. Okay, but anyway, that is The Dark Knight Rises. And then next on the list, let me just tell you, this movie. Let me tell you, this is the first time you watching this movie, too. And let me just tell you, Interstellar. Ooh, Stella!
Did you watch it in 4K?
I watched that shit in 4K. I brought the 4K on it.
Yeah, but I'm saying it arrived.
It arrived. Yeah, that one arrived. Yeah. It arrived. Dunkirk, Prestige, and then that one came. And I was like,
this movie is loud.
It's mad loud. And the picture quality is phenomenal. But anyway, Nate, what did you think of Interstellar when you first saw it?
Okay, so that's a good question. What did I think when I first saw it? Because what I thought when I first saw it and what I thought when I watched it now is two totally different things.
Oh, okay.
I literally have not seen this movie since 2014. I saw it at the theater twice. Once in IMAX, once in regular. And I liked it. I actually reviewed this. One of my first reviews I did on YouTube back in 2018. It's still up on YouTube. I gave it an 8. 8 out of 10. Because, you know, on a technical level, even then I was like, this is pretty flawless. I just couldn't, something about it, I couldn't really get into it. I thought it was good. Like when I left, I feel like I experienced a movie, but I just didn't latch to it too much. Watching it this time, totally different experience. Honestly, I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
but watching it now, I was like, I thought it was so much more beautiful of a movie. It went from something, and again, kind of a spoiler for when we do our rankings, but it went from something I ranked not that high to a totally different spot, and that's all I'll say. This to me made me feel the way I think 2001 makes other people feel, because I don't like that movie that much. I think 2001 A Space Odyssey is one of the most overblown, overrated, boring movies, in my opinion. Not on a technical level, but, you know, people watch that and they say they have this sort of, you know, I don't have it. And this one, watching it now, I had that kind of
impact,
emotional response to it, I guess I'll say. So I think it's beautiful. I absolutely loved it. The Hans Zimmer score is literally amazing. Just fantastic. And again, we don't have to keep going on about his cast, because every single movie he has like the best overall cast of any movie that comes out that year. Well, this one, he never worked with McConaughey. You got Wes Bentley in this. You got Jessica Chastain. You got Casey Affleck. Like, there's a lot of people he did not work with in other movies. Only Anne Hathaway and Michael Caine. Those are the only two returning ones. Even the kids. Timothée Chalamet is one of the kids. And he's, you know, he was really good. So yeah, I now love this film, and I'll just leave it there.
Giovanni, what did you think of Interstellar?
Well, right off the bat, like, yeah, I mean, this is not high on my list, you know, but it just, you know, I went to see this in IMAX. I loved it. The sound was great. It was beautiful. It felt like 2001 A Space Odyssey to me for our new generation, but I couldn't call it that because of what that did at that time, and what that did for storytelling and visual storytelling as a whole. So that's probably why everybody gripes about it. I'm a huge fan because I'm a sci-fi fan. So I'm a fan of
2001?
this movie too. So it's just like Matthew McConaughey was a stretch for me because I'm not a huge fan of him, at least before this movie. Maybe there was like a couple. I think he did Lincoln Lawyer or something that was pretty good. But I loved it. I mean, I just wanted more Nolan. I didn't, I liked it. Like I got it in 4K, but I just wanted more Nolan from it. It doesn't make me want to, like, I have Memento, Prestige, and Inception all on DVD. I still got to get Following on the Criterion Collection because I'm all about the behind the scenes. So I'm all about, what does it include? So I'm buying the movie, but and what, So that's the whole thing is that, like, if I didn't already, like, own this, now I bought it on 4K. So I didn't own it before this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wouldn't rebuy it.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a fan of him, and I like putting my money where I feel like it's coming back to me in some way. And Nolan films do that for me, or I put in the time in any way because I've done that for other movies too.
Yep.
So,
this was a first-time watch for me and my wife. And I freaking love this movie. I mean, when I tell you, I actually love this movie. Like more than the Batmans. I will say that shit right now. I think the story is phenomenal. It reminded me of like a weird Star Trek episode. Like it's just a weird start. Like they took him out of retirement and then he has to go and do some type of journey, but he gets sucked in like somehow and gets suckered. And I loved it. And I loved the whole, like, he got like the whole thing of him getting suckered and the fact that his kids were growing up while he's going through all this shit. I was like, this shit is awesome. Very emotional impact. And then they had the Martian Matt Damon up in this bitch. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, it was like a mesh between the Martian and
that
this
was
movie.
Yeah,
so I was like, this was evil.
Mind-blowing part, Matt Damon.
Evil Martian.
But, yo, dude, let me just say, overall, this movie is fantastic. It was a very roller, and I'm not a big Matthew McConaughey fan in terms of, like, movie. Like, I think he's a great actor. I just don't watch much of his stuff. But this one, I was like, I kind of like him. I was like, it's pretty good. But yeah, the movie was very good. It was a very, like I said, I love this movie. Like, I'm going to watch this shit again maybe this weekend, but it's really good. Now, let's get to the last two clips, and then we're going to get into this
these rankings.
Huh? Yeah, we're going
to do these rankings.
Yes, sir. All right, here we go. This is the final two movies.
You can practically see it from here. What? Home. All I have for you is a word. Tenet. It'll open the right doors, some of the wrong ones too. Use it carefully.
All right, so there you have it. Those are the last two, Dunkirk, 2017, and then his final movie that he filmed was Tenet until whenever he decides to do another one. All right, Nate, what did you think of the war movie Dunkirk?
Okay, so I saw this at the theater, another one, and then I haven't watched it since until we did this. So I watched this like not last weekend, the one before. Okay, I mentioned earlier how Insomnia feels the least like a Christopher Nolan movie, and then this one feels the second least like a Christopher Nolan movie to me. It does from the way the story's told, because it's all out of order, but I just feel like this movie didn't need that. Like it is something he applied to a story that didn't need that storytelling technique. So I don't love that, to be honest with you. And honestly, if you don't like Memento, 30, 40 minutes in, you start to get what he's doing. Following, you start to get. This one, I remember seeing him like, I don't know where we are. And I don't think, for some reason, for someone who's kind of mastered that, I don't think it was executed that well here. And I think it has more to do with the story of, Dunkirk than it does Christopher Nolan. Because at this point, he's a master filmmaker. I just don't think it needed it. On top of that, there's no characters I really like in this. I'm not attached to anybody. There's not really a story per se. This is an event that happened, and then he tells it in a weird way. On a technical level, I think it's flawless. I don't think there's an issue there. The filmmaking is great. The war scenes are great. The audio is great. The music, everything is great about it. The performances are great. You know, even Tom Hardy is just pretty much his voice and like this much of his face for most of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, inspired casting. Like, why even put him in that? But that's his boy. So he's like, hey, I need you for this role where you're going to be mostly covered and just talking for most of the movie.
You did it for me in the last movie.
Right, you did it before. Let's do it again.
One more time.
Yeah, but this one I just don't connect with. I really don't. I think it's very well made, you know, but that's it. I mean, and this was the one that he did he win Best Director for this? Wasn't this the one? Or he was nominated for Best Director?
I think he was never. I don't think he ever won.
I don't think he won yet.
Yeah.
But I remember this
nominated.
Yeah, this was the first time he was nominated for Best Director. And I was like, of all his movies, this is the one where it's
Dark
just
Knight.
a war. Like, yeah, like it's short at least. It's the shortest movie. I mean, after Following, it's only like an hour and 40 minutes. But I don't love it. I don't love it, to be honest.
Should have got it.
All right,
I do
Giovanni.
like it. I think it's good, but I don't love it.
All right, so Giovanni, what did you think of Dunkirk?
Well, I have a funny story on this. I didn't get to see this in theaters. I was doing like DoorDash in California for a minute, and while I was doing freelance work, so I snuck in to watch a clip of this in theaters because I'm more about the study of film and all that junk. So I go in there to listen to it, to hear how it sounds in theaters, you know, because that was what I loved about his Inception movies and all that stuff, and I've seen most of his movies in IMAX, at least his personal movies, I would say, not so much the Batman films, but this film has all of what his other movies have, which is playing on time. Everybody's in a race of time in this one, but yet then we're jumping different timelines just to confuse you a little bit, you know, because it's not like a Nolan movie without trying to confuse you just a smidge, you know, and it just it doesn't really have a story. It's a plot. The plot is the war. That's a movie, I guess. A lot of movies been built that way that I love in the 90s.
Just an event.
They were all, you know,
Yeah.
had Arnold Schwarzenegger in them. They had Sylvester Stallone. I watched them. I loved them. You know, it made me want to do movies. So, but yeah, I don't know why this one got nominated. I think it's because it's a war movie, Nate.
Yeah.
And
I think so.
and Academy Awards is going through a lot right now because I don't know what, you know, who's in the Academy that isn't, you know, old. Like there's a bunch of old people watching this and they're judging it in their point of view at their age at the moment that this movie comes out. So, you know, they're seeing a war film and they're just like, well, war film's got to get nominated. Yeah, but what about The Prestige? That was a period piece about something more or less real, but not real, because the whole Nikola Tesla thing really did happen. Mm-hmm. You know, so that it was a fictionalized story. I mean, they should have given him like, you know, writing and directing, you know, for him and his brother, and they should be doing that. But I mean, it just like it goes to show you. I mean, even you know, hopefully, you know, I can get invited to Scorsese, and I could say the same thing about Scorsese. You know, they waited till the Departed to give the man something, and that's not the greatest movie of his.
No, you're right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, didn't that
like
happen
a
to
lifetime achievement nomination?
Well,
yeah,
didn't they do that to
what the Academy Award is.
Well, didn't they do that to Denzel Washington too? He should have won for Malcolm X, but they gave it to him for Training Day. You're like, wait, what?
Yes.
It was great. He should have just won for both.
Day,
Probably.
Yeah, but I agree.
It was weird to me. That's like that's very close to calling that a race thing too. That he has to act like what to be what to get what. Like my man, like for real, you got to give this dude an Oscar because he had to act a little ghetto as a cop and because he's a criminal cop.
Yeah.
Like,
Dirty
does
Cop.
everybody see
Oscar.
this? Like, everyone's seeing all this now
Dirty
that the pandemic's over, and everyone had time 2 years to relook at movies and relook at not only Hollywood but our history, you know.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't just that; it's been happening even before, and this is what is necessary for people to see, and finally see it. They didn't see this before, now they're seeing it now. So welcome to the world of what's, I guess, called woke now, but I don't know. That was always called the real world, you know. Like me, you know, I'm 34. I'm not a a teenager anymore. So I don't know. I felt like this was a great movie, but it definitely, I agree with Nate. I had to force myself to rewatch this one for you guys. So, but I have it here on Steelbook.
There you go.
There you have it.
Like it. And I'm a Nolan fan. You know, I have his movies here on Blu-ray and stuff like that. I even rebuy his stuff. But I mean, this one was tough. I think I like the marketing more.
I will say this: when it comes to Dunkirk, I did not like this movie at all. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I thought visually it looked great. The story to me, I'm gonna be 100%. I was on my fucking phone watching the damn thing. I was like, this thing is boring, and it's not even that, because I think 1917. I know a lot of people got the flip flop with this. Dunkirk is better than 1917. I personally think 1917 is a way better movie than Dunkirk, because I'm following this guy through the damn war, while this one, it's 100 times better.
And they took the whole Alfred Hitchcock thing. Everyone wants to call the Oneers and stuff and give it credit to other directors, but Alfred Hitchcock did that in Rope. Yeah. If you ever hear about Rope, he did a movie that takes place all in one apartment about some dead guy in a trunk.
Alex, you like that movie?
Yeah.
James
Oh,
Stewart.
you seen that, Nate?
No.
I've seen it. It's great.
Yeah, that movie's fire, dude. Like that, Nate. That movie. Yeah, it's not long that I can remember, but it's one that a lot of people don't talk about. And when I fell into the Alfred Hitchcock college film days, that was around that time. And I'm
better
sure
than Dunkirk.
Nolan done it too.
That's for sure.
Huh?
Better than Dunkirk, that's for sure.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Alex, I agree with you. I think 1917. If you're just I don't know why that's a comparison. They're not even the same war.
Nope.
You know, there's other World War II movies. People are like, "Well, Dunkirk in 1917." Why is that an argument when 1917 was World War I? But whatever. I agree with you. I think 1917 is a better war film.
I think so too. I think 1917. I think Hacksaw Ridge or whatever it was called. I think it was better than this too. To be honest with you. Yeah,
I'd rather watch that than this.
I'd rather watch that 100 times than this movie. This movie is boring.
Look at your poster and look at this. It looks the same, man.
Yeah, except this guy's backwards, which is telling because I don't know who he is. You don't know who these people are.
Yeah,
that's the point, Nate.
Yeah, they're just random dudes.
Care.
Yeah,
I didn't care. To be honest with you, it's weird. It's a weird movie, to be honest with you, because it was like land, air, and sea from the point of view, and I couldn't follow with it. But again, it looked amazing. It was stunning. But let's get to the rankings.
This is why, guys. Oh, sorry, it doesn't show there, but he wrote it, man. So Christopher Nolan wrote it.
Excuse me.
He also wrote Inception, which is all by himself without his brother.
Yeah, I think he writes movies. I think he's a better sci-fi writer than War.
You. Yeah,
I agree.
He's a better sci-fi. All right, so let's have some fun. Let's start rating
Tenet.
this thing.
Tenet's good.
Oh, Tenet, my bad. Oh, Jesus, you see, I forgot about Tenet. Oh, Lord.
Everyone forgot about it. That's why it didn't. That's why it made the least.
My bad. What did you think of Tenet, Nate? My bad.
I put it in my stack too.
Really good. I actually like Tenet. I saw it 3 times at the theater. 3 times. And 1, because I didn't get it. And 2, because I liked it. So it's like, I like this, but I don't know what's going on. Let me go again. And then the 3rd time, I haven't watched it since the theater. I did not rewatch it for this. But also, this just came out like pretty recently.
2020.
Yeah, 2020. I saw it 3 times. I remember it. I think it's super creative. A lot of people compared it or put it in the ballpark of Inception. I guess that's the one it's most similar to, but it's not the same movie, really. You know what I mean? I think John David Washington was I thought he was great in this. Robert Pattinson was great. I like the film. I think it's good, but I just think it's good. I don't think it's like better than good for me.
Okay, Giovanni, what do you think of Tenet?
Well, like I've said before about his movies, well, this one, Tenet, is just a backwards forwards kind of universe and everything like that. So, um, I don't know. I mean, I had a weird experience with this one. I'm sure a lot of people did too with the whole pandemic. I didn't get to see this in theaters. I wanted to. Big fan of his work. So when I heard about his movie and the whole pandemic was going on, it was a great distraction, just waiting for this to even hit, around my neighborhood in any way or for me to see it. I ended up seeing it through bootleg, which is like the worst thing you could do. So I watched it mainly for the story and try to see if I can hear what everyone's talking about some of the sound stuff started coming up around that time. This is more in like forums for filmmakers and stuff like that. So it didn't quite get in the zeitgeist till a little after when they started opening the gates from the pandemic and everyone was able to go back out and go to the movies and all that stuff. So I didn't get to see this because, Alex knows what I'm talking about when you have a kid and a wife and everything like that. It's more of like there's certain movies you don't get to see in theaters. And this is one of those that I know my she's my ex now, but she wasn't so keen on watching this because Inception was so just mind boggled her. So I ended up having to see this later when it came up on digital. So I rented it. So I watched it again for a second time. So then the third time I watched it, kind of went Nate about watching it 3 times. Watched it recently. I did like it. I do love it a lot more than some of his movies. Definitely more than Interstellar, but it's still one of those movies that I have to, rewatch again, and give it that. But I love John David Washington. This is him getting very close to Denzel. Like Denzel gonna show up at like co-starring role with his son in the next Nolan movie.
Dude, I would love that.
Equalizer. Awesome, huh?
He should be like, he should be Equalizer, and his son should be called EQ. They mean the same thing.
Ideas, man.
And he should have a high-pitched voice too when he walks in.
Yeah.
Yep.
The sound joke.
No, but Tenet. Let me just tell you, I already like Tenet. For me, it's an okay movie, but I felt meh about it. I kind of understand what they mean with the Inception. I could see where a lot of people were saying, because it's kind of similar in terms of the technology of them moving and doing everything, but it's not the same movie. It's totally different aspects of it and time and all this crap. But for me, I couldn't see. The thing is with Nolan movies, there's movies that I could follow when it's really well written. This movie starts off really weird off the bat. They're in the orchestra. And then all of a sudden, this dude is a SWAT guy. He's there to get this guy with this damn weird device. And I was just like, what is this? Then it just started to lose itself when they went into the Tenet. And I felt the same way with Wanted. I was like, oh, my God. I'm like, when the whole time the bullets could, Angelina Jolie is hot. But I was just like, it's just this movie was weird. I had to put on the subtitles just to understand this movie. And just to understand, I'm not meaning the way they're speaking and whatever. It's just the script. I had to try to figure it out. And I'm gonna be honest, for me, it's the weakest one in terms of his sci-fi. Like I love the Insomnia, I love Inception, I love The Prestige. Like those movies are just so fun because I felt like I was there. Anything that has to do with like this type of movie. And a lot of like you have to be a physics major. I'm like, oh God, like. I can't. I'm like, this is it. Like, you pushed me to the edge, Nolan, of my IQ. You used me. But look, again, it's for me. It's kind of meh. And I can see why a lot of people didn't like this movie. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. It's nothing I can say. Well shot, though. Looks beautiful. To be honest with you.
There was things missing from this movie and levels there for the characters because... No offense, like John David Washington's a phenomenal actor, and there's a lot of people who could do this. Ryan Gosling is another one with Drive. Is do a lot of put a lot of character in front of their face and stuff like that, and really you could really like understand where they're coming from. But Nolan writes like this in a sense where I don't think there's a lot of like character building, and And really, when you're watching a movie and people, you don't know this, but when you watch movies, you're being taught on how to watch a movie while you're watching a movie, And if you watch older movies and all that stuff, even more so, with what I'm saying. So, with this kind of movie, it's just like, now you're like, I just don't know who these guys really are personally. There's nothing tangible for me to grab onto.
He doesn't even have a name.
Puzzles? Does he like
character? He doesn't even have a name. He's just called the protagonist. I mean, that says a lot.
It was one of the things that drove me kind of crazy about it was that I didn't know what his name was at the end of it. That I was like so infatuated that I jumped on trying to find following on a Criterion Collection.
But
I was mad about that.
Did you guys care for his? I didn't care for his character.
I thought he was cool. I thought the performance
That's what
was
I thought
cool.
it was.
Yes.
But I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know. You don't know. There's no backstory.
I know the actor, and that's what's crazy because I watched him in Ballers with The Rock.
Right.
I enjoyed watching him work, but I didn't care for the character. Yeah, you don't know anything. You don't know enough about him to be like, wow, I hope he really succeeds, and I'm on this journey with him. It's more like I'm watching this guy. He seems cool. He's good in the action. Great. That's it.
But that's what I totally agree with you because I'm like every other movie. Like I cared for Leonardo DiCaprio. I cared for Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman in The Prestige. I care for Guy Pearce in The Memento. I care for Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar. This movie, I couldn't care for this guy. I was like, whatever. What are you like? What is the point?
You know how you fix it? You know how you fix it quickly?
What? Watch it again?
Like one shot in the beginning of the movie when he's in the truck before they go into the opera, and they look at him and all that stuff. He needs to be a little bit more nervous.
Yeah.
And not like nervous in the fact of like, oh, his character's nervous, but that's going to come across to us as like, oh, something's a little off with this whole job or whatever he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Something's a little weird or something like that. I mean, that he's nervous or something. I mean, that gives a slight more character thing, but it gives it more of a 90s action thing going on if you lean into that. But of course, this is a Nolan movie. He's always going to try to touch your brain and make you feel something and and push in from a really wide shot, Like,
well, as long as he goes back to his middle movies, I'll be good with that. All right, so here we go. Now,
all right,
let's start from number 11 and all the way down to your number 1. So, Giovanni, what is your number 11?
So my number 11 is the wow, and this is one of my favorite Batman movies, but you got to understand this is a hard list for me to do and put all these in where they belong or whatever, But The Dark Knight Rises is number 11 for me, as far as it goes for like his filmography as a whole. I wouldn't say it's the worst one, but yeah, let's just, I guess, move on from that.
Right, we're not ranking them on like quality. We're a film. We're ranking them on personal taste. Which one do I want to watch again?
I
before
felt like he
next one?
He wasn't himself in this movie, and that's how I feel.
All right,
he didn't direct Christopher Nolan here.
All right, so Dark Knight Rises is your number 11. Nate, what is your number 11?
Yeah, and by the way, Robert wants to see Denzel and John David Washington in a Sanford and Son remake. So shout out to Rob with the. Especially if Christopher Nolan directs it, that's pretty good. My number 11 is going to be Following. Don't get me wrong. Again, I like all the movies, but this, again, is a film student, and it's not technically better than anything else on the list to me. I like it, but it's not one that I really reach for, like, that I want to watch over and over and over again, personally. So, yeah, that's my number 11.
All right, so my number 11 is Tenet. I don't think I'm going to watch this movie again. I don't think I'm going to put it on. It looks amazing. I have the steel book. It's cool. It's in my Nolan collection. But honestly, I cannot. I knew my wife said you could watch it without me. I already knew it's not a good movie because she was on every Nolan movie except this one. When we watched this, this was the movie that I watched, and me and her shut it off because we were just lost. And someone told me to put on the subtitles and watch it, and then we understood it. And I was just like, oh, all right, it is what it is. But yeah, I don't enjoy this movie. I didn't like it. All right, Giovanni, what's your number 10?
All right, my number 10 is Interstellar.
Oof.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's funny because I'm almost wanting to choose to switch them, but it is what it is. Everybody knows, like, Interstellar kind of, it leapt and then like it fell or something. I don't know.
Through a wormhole.
He tried, yeah, he fell into a wormhole. He's still there. It's still fell. So yeah, that's what it is for me with this, and yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'm a sci-fi fan. That's why it went up. It bumped up for me with him, because for me, at least, he was still in the realm of his whole sci-fi thing for me. So, you know.
All right, my number 10, Dunkirk. I don't like it that much. I think it's another one. It's the only reason it's above Following is because it's so well made, and
Right.
it beats it on like every other technical level.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it that respect. But that's it. I don't love it. I think I'd score it maybe like it's like a, I don't know, a soft 7 out of 10. You know, like it's good. I can't sit here and tell you this movie's bad. It's not. I just don't like it because I don't relate. There's no characters and no story. So not crazy about it. So that's my number 10.
Well, don't worry about it, buddy, because that's my number 10 is Dunkirk. I do not care for Dunkirk. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's a well shot movie. Just like Nate said, I don't know what the hell we're watching here with these characters. I mean, one minute you see a German putting a dude's toe in the sand, and next thing you know, I was
Guy
like,
going to take a crap on the beach.
Yeah.
He's burying
every time he
burying
takes
a
a
guy.
crap, someone's interrupting him. I was like, this dude must have the ill constipation running through this whole this whole movie. But anyway, I wasn't a fan of Dunkirk. All right, number 9, Giovanni. What's your number 9?
It's Dunkirk, so just leave the post.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I wasn't racing to the theaters to see this one. In fact, I told you I snuck in to see a piece as a filmmaker. I mean, that's why, like, you don't see Following so low down out here.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, Dunkirk, man.
All right.
I wish
All right.
it was better. That's why it's on Steelbook. Like, like in the back of my mind, there's a better movie that he made of this.
It's somewhere out there in
It's
the
somewhere.
ether.
What's your number 9, Nate?
All right, my number 9, you will have to change the poster since we already all picked this movie. I'm going with Insomnia. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it's a really good movie, but it just doesn't feel like Nolan to me. It's a good thriller. I can't rank a good thriller for me way higher than where I'm putting it, but I do enjoy the movie. I totally recommend it. I will have no problem watching it again. But doesn't have that. It doesn't have that Nolan feel enough for me to rank it higher than this. So that's my number 9.
All right. My number 9 is The Following. This is for me now where it gets hard for me going down the list. It starts to get really hard to narrow down my number 1. This movie, I still think it's excellent. I think it has a great premise to the story. You guys should check it out. I mean, if you guys are filmmakers and everything, this is actually a really good movie to check out if you're a film student. But yeah, I still love it. I will be watching it. So, all right, Giovanni, what is your number 8?
So my number 8 is Batman Begins.
Ooh.
Yeah. Reason why I'm saying this, I have a real reason. I'm coming from a Batman fan. We've seen his origin so many times. And I think that has been said to death too. So, you know, I mean, this has, for a good while from 2005 on, has been one of my favorite Batman movies. And especially if I want to watch him like start over and stuff like that. So rewatching it with my cousin, I realized I had watched the Batman in theaters not too long before this. So I find that the Batman is very close to the character of Batman in a sense, and they made him younger so they could kind of start over and actually do like the Marvel thing, I guess, more or less, if they wanted to, hopefully. Vamos a ver. So with this one, this to me is like the music, just everything was top tier on it with Batman, but it's been done to death. The beginning of his origin has been done to death. The title sucks. Like, why wasn't the first one The Dark Knight? You know, right? Like, and then the second one be something else. I mean, and that one be the Dark Knight something. I mean, but it's okay. You know, people miss this all the time, this movie, and I always recommend you got to watch this one first, because if you know nothing about Ra's al Ghul, you can't go on to the third one. So I had the same argument with my family on that. So like, it is what it is. They're fans of the Dark Knight, you know, but I have a lot to say about that one later.
All right, number 8 now. Alex, what you just said about ranking them, like for me, the bottom 4 was the bottom 4. It was fairly easy. From 7 up is where I was like, gosh darn, where do I put it? Because for me, they're all like 9 out of 10 and up as far as scores. So it was really hard to rank. This one is the one that's not a 9 out of 10, and it's Tenet. I enjoyed Tenet. Again, I liked it. I saw it 3 times at the theater. You know what I mean? And it does. The only reason it's above Insomnia one spot is because this one does feel like a Christopher Nolan movie to me. And it has that mixture of creativity in the storytelling and the like ace level filmmaking. And I like it. I do think it's really good. I think it's a little confusing, yes. And I don't love the lead like character, but I like the actors, all the other actors. And I think it's a really interesting, you know, like nut to try to crack as far as the story is concerned. So I have more enjoyment watching it than the other ones, but yeah, from here up, this is where it got really hard for me.
You know, I totally agree with you because my number 8 is Memento. Is it switching? Oops, did I do something wrong?
Tento.
Anyway, it's Memento. There you go. Yeah. I again, nothing wrong with the film, but I don't see myself putting it on all the time. That's the only nitpick on it. I might do what Nate does when he does the every like 5 year or so, then I'll put it on. But this is not something I will like casually continue putting on until it's a higher definition. Because right now I don't even have it on like DVD of Momento. But yeah, it's a great movie. You guys have not checked it out. Check it out. It's a fantastic film. All right, number 7, Giovanni.
All right. So number. Oh, did I gave my number 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 7 for me would actually have to be Tenet. I did kind of move things slightly around. It would have to be Tenet, and I kind of agree with Nate on that with the whole character thing. But I did like it a little bit better in that sense of like it's very much a Nolan film, in the whole sci-fi realm of things. It's touching on everything I like, the mystery of it. I've watched it 3 times. I still don't fucking get it. It's funny. Like I get it. I mean, I get certain things and stuff like that. But it's funny that there's just certain stuff. In the part that I don't get, obviously, is the characters, and that's what everybody keeps wondering why they don't understand the movie. And it's just like you just don't get the characters. And it's not like it's like Inception, in the grand scale of it. But then it doesn't have the character building of like, let's say like Cobb, Leonardo DiCaprio's character was well built in that one. He has a family and he wants to get back to them. That's enough. That's well built enough. Now you can go on with your adventure, Right. But we don't know a lick of this dude, like, so it's like,
why do I care?
He's an army guy and stuff, and and he looks like he'll take pain, and it doesn't matter, and he can care less about himself. That's all I understood, and it made me think of like, so is he a James Bond type character, but he ain't murking people, so I have no idea about that. So he's a scientist, and he's testing some stuff, involved in something there, but it just, I don't know. I that part still, I'm still trying to figure that part out too, but yeah, that's why it's kind of low.
Nate?
All right. My number 7, Alex, was your number 8. It's going to be Memento. Now, one thing you said that I actually agree with, I think this movie is great. Amazing. It's just not one that I reach for to rewatch a lot. For me, all the ones above this had either a certain entertainment value on top of everything else that I liked more, I don't find Memento particularly entertaining. I think it is great. I think the storytelling is well done. I think it's creative and unique. But those things don't always equate to entertaining. And so, it's kind of a dark story. I think it's a fantastic film, but it's just not one that I've seen as much or revisit or want to revisit as much as the other one. So it's kind of right in the middle. Well, almost the middle. So that's my number 7, Memento.
Yeah, my number 7 is The Prestige. I think it's a fantastic. Movie. Nothing against the movie at all. Like I said, there we go. Nothing against the movie at all. I think it's a fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But again, it falls in the same line as the Memento. Once you figure out the twist of the movie, yeah, you do want to go back, but you don't want to go back like really quick to watch these movies. Give it a few years down the line and then pop them back on to see if you catch something different on it. And that's what I felt like with The Prestige. This is not a movie that you could just continue popping it on. Give it a little time, like wine, let it settle, then take another swig of it. So that's what I think of Memento and The Prestige. All right, number 6, Giovanni.
Number 6 for me is going to be The Dark Knight. Yeah, so obviously this is the top one for me out of all the Batman movies.
Okay.
So yeah, I agree with everybody else in that sense. Because the villain, there's nothing better than a villain. And I agree with like most of his movies are a little bit more psychological. This is a little bit more straightforward. But again, these characters are built, already. So unlike Dunkirk and Tenet, it's just like it kind of, you got to have the characters well built, give them a little bit of backstory. Takes a couple seconds. I mean, it depends on what you're showing.
Yep.
Number 6, Nate.
All right, my number 6 was Alec. Me and you are like one off on everything. My number 6 is The Prestige. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I love the performances. Again, wasn't my action magician movie that I thought it was going to be when I was 19, but I wasn't disappointed in it. Rewatching it now, I really was engrossed in it. This probably would have been a little lower prior to the rewatch, to be honest. So I'm glad I rewatched all the movies because it now falls like this one's right like in the middle for me.
Okay.
But great, again, like 9 out of 10 score for me. I think the movie's fantastic.
Yeah, my number 6 is Giovanni's number 6. It's Dark Knight. The movie's fantastic. I think it would have been higher up if Batman had a modulator in his voice. I would have been like, you know what, this is awesome. I just think his Batman voice is he's Batman throughout almost the whole movie, so that damn voice is just so daunting at times. I just hate it. I just can't sit through it as much. But that's the only nitpick I got. But everything else, the storyline, Harvey Dent's origin story with Joker, I think they should have never killed him. It would have been awesome. Two-Face still alive. But I think all of the storyline is so awesome. And I just cannot stand that damn voice. Even rewatching it after all these years, it's just so daunting and annoying. But other than that, that's pretty much it. All right, Giovanni, your number 5.
So my number 5.
Top 5
is my top 5. Well, this is Inception. Inception is my top 5. Now, Inception is just one of those movies that I just kept rewatching over and over and over. And I wouldn't say like back to back. And like I say with most of like you guys said with Alex had said it with watching them back to back. You got to let it simmer. You got to let the mind just kind of like be in it. And you're thinking about it, and then tomorrow you go to sleep, you wake up, and you're a different person every day. And you know how they tell you every day is a new day. It's true because you wake up thinking differently because you had night's rest, you did whatever, you ate, and all that junk. You could think a lot better. So I don't know. I just feel that way about most of his movies too, and I feel that way about this one. But this one's a little bit more. I guess it's slightly more spoon-fed than like The Prestige in that sense.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying it's about storytelling. It's literally about filmmaking. It's incredible. I'm surprised they haven't nominated this one.
Yeah.
All right.
Nate, number 5.
My number 5 is my first Batman movie on the list is gonna be Batman Begins. It's my least favorite of the trilogy while still being an amazing movie that I love. I think it was great. I do agree. I've seen this origin story enough times. One of the things I like about, for example, like the Marvel Spider-Man movies is they just throw him in, like he's just Spider-Man and you know him. He's been around since 1930 or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't need it. So with that regard, I agree with Giovanni. Like I didn't need the whole first like 30 minutes or so. It's like we could speed this up a little bit. But other than that, I love this movie. Yeah, that's my number 5.
All right, my number 5 is another Batman movie, Dark Knight Rises. I think this is an excellent story to end it all. It's an open ending, so you could take it the way you want it. He died, and Alfred is just seeing him as an image of him and Selina, or he lived. So it's either toss up wherever you want to go. But I think this is a very excellent movie to how I end a trilogy, pretty much. I mean, he doesn't even have to go with a 4 if he comes back. They could just do something else. But I think this is an excellent movie. So well done with that. Giovanni, number 4.
All right, number 4. So again, this is coming from a filmmaker's perspective. So, I'm judging these things also on how, I feel about them and stuff like that. And but Following is number 4 for me. It ranks a little higher because of the inspiration that I got out of it. Watching this movie alone, if you want to make movies, you can watch this and see how a first movie should be. And, that you should build your story and everything like that and have good backstory. Again, what we've been talking about this whole time, a good backstory to care about the characters. I care about this character because he's a writer, and he was a struggling writer too. It wasn't just that. So it's like a double. Now you got two things that you can cling on to as a human being. So these movies are about human beings, and that's why they're very subjective, and people still can't understand them. They're too caught up on the technical, like, oh, it needs more VFX here, over there. Oh, the visual effects don't look great in Marvel movies is what I'm hearing now. And it's just like, you guys are just forgetting about what's important, and what's important is the characters. And do you even care? Do I really give a shit about these characters? And I cared about this guy in that sense because I'm coming from a filmmaker that's also a writer. I gotta write my own things to make my own stuff. So that's what I see with this. I loved how they were able to do everything handheld and shoot on 16 millimeter, which I've shot before, and that's not easy, and you shoot in black and white because it costs more to develop color. So there's a lot of things, a lot of levels in this and things to learn from this film. So
nice. See, I'm glad this is why you do a top ranking, because we all look at movies differently. I've never made a movie in my life. I don't want to, but I love them. And, Alex,
it's stressful, man.
Got into movies a little bit later, and you make movies. So we're all going to rank them different, and they hit everybody different. So I think that's, I had it all the way at the bottom, and you got it way up at the top, and we both have our reasons, and it's great. All right, my number 4, Inception. I think it is borderline a perfect balance of thought-provoking and entertainment.
Yes, sir.
Like it's right there on the line of both, of like, okay, this is, as a popcorn movie, this works perfectly, and as a thinking man's, brain melter, it works perfectly. And when you can toe that line, you get a great film out of it. The only reason it's not higher for me is because something crazy happened with one of these, and the other two I've already said. They're just two of my favorite movies, period. So it's like, if anything, it's 3B, to the 3A that I have. So yeah, I think it's amazing. That's my number 4.
My number 4, you're gonna be like, no effing way. Insomnia. I think this movie,
I believe this.
Yeah, this movie is freaking fantastic. I know we talk about the whole Nolan shot cameras and all this stuff, but I don't even care. The story is what drove this movie. Robert Williams was fantastic in this role. I miss him now, even after watching this movie. I was like, we miss his presence and his charisma in movies now. Al Pacino's just a hell of a freaking actor. And he reminds me of my dad. Like, I'm going to show you a picture of my dad. You're going to go, no freaking way. He looks just like Al Pacino.
Al Pacino?
Yeah, you're going to be like, what? But It's just a great story. It's a very great story, and I recommend it to anyone. If you guys could find it, pick it up, or find it in a thrift store, take a chance on it. You'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it.
It's hard to find.
Oh, there you go. It's hard to find.
Oh,
Look
really?
at that.
Yeah,
I have this on Blu-ray. I'm about to sell it.
Oh yeah, you should
Cash in.
Time
to cash in, baby.
Yeah, so there you have it.
Oh, yeah.
What's your number 3, Giovanni? What's your number 3?
Oh, so my number 3, just keep Insomnia up because we're talking about it anyways, because it is my number 3.
Okay.
Again, I'm going on what Alex said too with the whole story. Story to me is a major thing and a huge influence on me with filmmaking. So, and is very important to the audience. You know, you're hearing it with Nate and Alex, so this is very, very important to us all. So I thought this movie was phenomenal. It was a little different than out of all his filmography, going backwards and all this stuff, and having seen it again. That's why, like, I just feel like a lot of his, I wouldn't say his tropes came out in this, which was nice because it was a little different, but as a whole on its own, and as a job, like his job as a director is to make a great film, and he did that here with this movie, and he brought great performances out of Al Pacino and Robert. So it just like, it's like, what are we gonna, what do we expect here? Nothing but greatness, and that's what you're gonna get from this. And I love it. And you got $1 Million Baby here doing a performance here, that's good before it even got better at $1 Million Baby.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hilary Swank was really good in this.
Yeah, because she was not. She's Hilary Swank in every other movie.
Yeah,
this
I mean, she did what? Boys Don't Cry before this.
Karate Kid 3.
Won an Oscar or whatever, and then did this.
Yes.
So
yeah, she did Freedom Writer, I think, after this or something like that. It was okay.
Yeah, everything else was after this. Yeah,
but this was great, and it's definitely in my top 3 because of the story and everything, and definitely what it did for him too.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, my number 3 is The Dark Knight Rises. I love this movie. I already said it before. I feel like I'm in the minority for the most part. I know Wack of the Butcher in the chat.
It makes me happy to hear it though.
Earlier, Wack of the Butcher said the same. Like, he really loves this movie.
It's on Netflix. I watched it again, and I have it on Blu-ray.
It's so freaking good. Look, I agree with I almost agree with Alex in the sense of the storyline. As much as I love The Dark Knight, and clearly it's higher than this because I haven't said it yet, but this storyline is maybe better if you substituted Heath Ledger's Joker into this storyline. I think it might have just like blown everything out the water. And maybe it was supposed to be because he died. I know they kept him alive because he was supposed to be in the next Batman movie. That's why the Joker's character didn't, he hung up on the thing, and that's pretty much it. I can't imagine if you plopped him into this instead of Bane. I think it'd be too much. It might be too good. So as is, we get a slightly lesser villain, but still a great one in my opinion. And again, I love seeing Catwoman in a realistic kind of way. I like the action scenes in this. Actually, I think the action scenes in this are slightly better than the action scenes in any of the other Batman movies, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I love the fight with Bane in the sewer. I love the fight at the end in the snow when he comes walking up to him. It's like such a gangster moment where they're like walking towards each other. Like there's a million people, and these two, Bane is literally looking for him like a dog, like a rabid animal. Like, where is Batman? And I love it. It's so freaking good. I just love it. It's great. And again, the best Batman in suit intro scene in any of the movies. This movie's great in my opinion. I don't even care. So that's my number 3.
I love you guys' reaction on this movie.
It's great.
Like, just, you have no idea.
All right, so here we go. My number 3 is you guys' problem. Whatever. Batman Begins. And this is why, okay? This is why. I'm going to explain why, okay? Maybe it changes your mind a little bit. First, we never got to see Batman train in any of the movies, especially learning how to become a League of Shadows. Second, the thing that gets me really tired about Batman movies is his parents dying in any of the movies. Did not happen in this movie. His parents, they showed him, but you showed a little bit, and then they went right into him becoming, leaving Gotham, went straight to Ra's al Ghul, learned how to become a League of Assassins, and I'm like, what are you two smoking? I was like, this is one of the best beginnings to a Batman movie ever put on screen. Comes back, Just like you read in the comics, he comes back from the dead, and then he's like, bam. Now, there's different iterations of Batman. Of course, we got the Batman now with Matt Reeves, which I think is a perfect young Batman year 2. But I think this one, a lot of people are sleeping on this one. This one is really good, and I wish they showed the Lazarus pit of my man Ra's al Ghul dipping into the pit and coming back for Bruce. I wish we got that in part 3 because I would have went freaking bonkers, bro. I would have went bonkers.
You know what? I will say what I really love about Batman Begins is the criminal element. Like the fact that he's pretty much messing with mafia guys for most of the movie. I actually like that a lot.
Well, it's like very Batman animated series. You know how in an animated series he's picking on the mafia dudes?
I love that. Yeah, exactly.
It's really good. And he didn't, and I felt like the voice of him in Batman in that one was way more believable than what we got in the sequel. I mean, the sequel was just overdone. Like it just went straight crazy.
I just love that you have Batman voice as part of your. I give his voice a 5 in this one, a 9 in this one, and an 8 in this one.
I got a Batman score. Yeah. No, but honestly, I think out of all the Batman movies that ever came out, I think this as a beginning is 100%. Someone has to beat this because there is no way they can't. To be honest with you,
I love it. It was my number 5. I did love it. I love this movie.
I made a small ranking towards the end for Batman.
But with that said, what's your number 2?
Here we go.
Giovanni.
Number 2, nitty gritty.
Oh, so my number 2. I mean, it wouldn't be hard to guess because there's not many left, and I made such a stink about my favorite one. But Memento's number 2. Memento, I was working at Hollywood Video, so that was like, those are the times when you're just watching a lot of movies as a filmmaker, in school, when you're in school and all that, high school, those are the times to do it. I mean, like you're in your parents' home, even in college, I would recommend staying in your parents' house a little bit more, do the college, watch all the movies you can, and just, binge, like all the binging everybody likes to do, but binge the right stuff too. This is one of those right stuffs right here. You got to watch this movie. And Memento, just for any screenwriter, filmmaker, just everything. Acting
I agree
too.
with that.
Yeah.
Well said. Okay, my number 2. Now, Alex, this is the one where this was probably number 7 before today. And now it's number 2. I'm putting Interstellar as my number 2. Now, I texted my friends from my old podcast. Shout out, Netflix Movie Reviews Podcast. 4 years of great fun. I texted them and I told them, I was like, guys, I liked Interstellar when I first saw it, but I think it's now like amazing. I don't know what happened, and I don't have kids. I feel like if I had kids, forget it. I'd even love it even more. But and one of my friends, she loves this. She's been on the train since 2014 when it came out. Like she always loved it. And she was like, yes, finally. Like I came to the, like I joined the dark side or something. I think, I don't know what happened here. Again, at this point, there's no point in talking about the technical aspects of the film because they're all perfect. It just hit me the right way. I don't know. I think the emotion... I felt, again, I'm not like a crier. I don't cry at movies. Nothing like that. But I felt feelings while watching, especially in the end. Someone earlier in chat said the end felt kind of rushed. I don't think so. I feel like it had a lot of buildup to this moment, and the moment was good enough. If it dragged on any longer, it would then be too much, in my opinion. So I feel like that last 30 minutes was exactly what it needed to be. For me, and again, this is 2001 for me. What that movie's not, this movie is to me. So yeah, I think it's climbed the charts all the way up to my second favorite of his. I don't think number 1 can ever be beat, but so that's my number 2.
Well, my number 2 is Inception. This movie's freaking fantastic. I mean, rewatching it again, I'm not gonna get into reviews because we did the podcast on it last week. But this movie still holds up. I got to get it in 4K. I still own it on Blu-ray. And it came with the script. The Blu-ray came with the script of the movie. So it's actually
Really?
yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll send you I'll send you like snapshots.
Gotta get
from
this
it.
one.
Oh,
Alex,
nice.
Just get it.
Just get.
Just order
But I
it.
already got the other 6. The other
No,
6.
trade them in. Trade them in.
He like showed it on Blu-ray, and I only got all of these.
There
And
you
he
go.
got
all the 4K, all the 4Ks, and then
I don't know
Insomnia and
that.
following and Memento and Blu-ray, because that's all that exists.
No, yeah, but
What's the special features like on there?
yeah, well, all in all, look, Inception is a fantastic movie. It still holds up. You could put it on, and it's still enjoyable throughout. This is a movie that is crazy. I put it up there with like The Fifth Element, when the director directs and writes his own movie. And if that's the vision that he wanted on screen, then he did a fantastic job with these characters. It was so good. All right, your number 1, Giovanni. What is your number 1?
All right, so my number 1 is The Prestige. Obviously.
Incredible.
I felt like I had a great experience with The Prestige. I think I like period movies. I like the whole, I know how hard it is to make those things, I guess. But it just, out of his filmography, if we're going into his filmography, this was Inception. Again, it was Tenet. It was Dunkirk was trying to be all these movies. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I hold this one way higher regard than all his other movies on that note alone. It is a harder miss for a lot of people, and I feel like it may put a lot of people to sleep with the whole narration and stuff too.
Yeah.
But it's definitely has been a rewatchable one for me ever since it came out. I would rewatch this so many times that I'd go to sleep. I would like fall asleep like halfway through. There'd be times that I'd get like almost to the end and I'm like, oh, I gotta shut this off. Like, if not, I'm not gonna sleep tonight,
Yeah.
So this is one of those, and Inception's one of those too that happened to me the other day, watching it on streaming for this live stream. So yeah, The Prestige, man.
All right. Hey,
Right on.
I already know what Nate is. I'm just gonna put it up.
Put it up. There it is. There she
Yeah.
is, right there.
We all know.
That's my movie right there. There she goes. Look, I don't know what else to say. Look, I tend to not like to, I'm not a bandwagon guy, but sometimes the masses are correct, and I just think this is the best Batman movie. It is for me. It will be hard to beat it because it is Batman mixed with the movie like Michael Mann's Heat, mixed with like just real life. Like, it feels like real life as a comic book movie can get. The fact that it has a character who has a burnt up face that there's no way that guy lives. If he does live, he's not looking like that. But you believe it because it's so well done that you're like, yeah, probably this guy probably could be alive and have that disgusting face. So that's something to say of how good it is, in my opinion. The opening scenes
holds up still.
Yeah, no, CG looks great. Like, it doesn't look bad at all. This in 4K looks amazing.
Yeah, that's why I said 4K. It was like my parents got a 60-inch screen, QLED thing, or whatever in that, and you could see
amazing.
His face, and my cousin's over here. He was like a little kid. He was like maybe 5 years old in 2008. He would never be able to watch any of this. It's too much.
Right.
But that held up for him after so long. He's like, wow, this is a movie that old. It's over 10 years old.
It's almost 15 years old at this point. Next year is 15 years. So like it's amazing. Yeah, I think everything about it holds up. Flawless. A 10 out of 10 movie to me. And again, the best comic book villain performance that's ever been. It can be topped. I'm not the one that's gonna say never, but it hasn't been to this point. So I just think it's the best.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not gonna argue with your number 1. I mean,
I know
Batman's voice is just horrible.
I like it. Stuff like that doesn't bother me.
No,
as much,
I know it don't.
Yeah, it's like I don't care.
No, but I do agree with you in terms of Joe. I'm so sad that we never got to see a sequel with that Joker.
I agree.
Because I think you could see that he was gonna be his menacing pain in the ass. But anyway, my number 1 is a movie that I saw for the first time. Okay, this week, yesterday, pretty much. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I was so floored, and I'm just gonna even say it, bro. Interstellar.
Yeah.
This movie is freaking fantastic, and the scene with the 250-foot wave coming at them in slow motion, I was like, what the hell? And the crazy thing is that one gap right there, right, of the movie made me like flip out, because I'm like, holy shit, to us it was 5 minutes, and then when he got into the ship it was like 23 years later. I was like, holy shit, his daughter's like 30. I was like, this is crazy.
They were there for 3 hours, and it's the most stressful thing when they get back and the dude's old.
Yes.
They're grown up. It's crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, I was emotional that part. Like, me and my wife got emotional because I was like, holy shit, like, this dude lost his entire kid's life thinking he's gonna go back. It's a very, very, very thought out movie, very well done. I think I'm like I said, for this to be my number one, it could have been Batman Begins, it easily could have been Insomnia, or any of the others. Again, this does not mean that this is the best one to me out of all of them. I mean, all of them are fantastic movies. And I can see all of them whenever I want.
They're all worth watching very much.
Yeah.
Thor Love and Thunder. Thor Love and Thunder quoted this to be one of the best movies to watch as a scientist or something.
She said that it explains wormholes better than like any other movie or something.
And any other movie explains wormholes the best.
It did.
I agree with y'all on this. This was the only movie out of the list that I feel like I totally missed because I own it. So like I was like, I'm gonna pop this in. But then I just moved in to where I'm at now. So I didn't get a chance to pop it in, but I might end up popping it in tonight. But
maybe you're going to watch it tonight and it might just like overwhelm you. And you might, what the heck? What was I thinking?
Like, you know, I'm still thinking about the end part with the whole, you know, all the universes kind of all in one and he's inside.
And when he's in the Tesseract?
Yeah, the Tesseract, and it's like, and it's these cubes, and it's like basically these pictures in 3D models just kind of stretched, you know?
Yeah, they look awesome.
And it's awesome. I mean, and for him to use Morse code to communicate with his daughter from the past, the movie's incredible, but this is why it makes it so hard for somebody like myself to, you know, and it goes back, I bring everything, you know, full circle always in anything I usually do when I talk. But back to what we were talking about in the beginning, no filmmaker tends to have such a great track record like this to this point, that even Oppenheimer, that's a biopic. I'm not expecting a big wave like we're getting in Interstellar or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, every director has a great composer, and the fact is that he has Hans Zimmer in almost all his movies, as Steven Spielberg has John Williams. Tells you how great he is as a director. And again, you could see each of his films is influenced by a picture behind him. So you could see all the influence from Interstellar. You can see everything from The Following all the way up to The Dark Knight Rising in that one movie. So it tells you, just like Tenet is the same thing as every other movie that he did, is just too much time put together. So, look, other than that, I mean, this is a fantastic episode. I mean, we went 2 hours and 30 minutes. Like, Jesus Christ, we did not know we were going to go this long.
No, but I think this, to me, this is, even though it's 3 people, normally it's just 2 of us.
Yeah.
As far as a director spotlight, I think we covered the whole thing. As far as when we kind of came up with this idea, I know we didn't use this format mostly for the sake of time, but I think if we do one of these every now and then that's a little longer, I think it's fair because these directors deserve, you know, me and you, Alex, we sit there and watch, 12 movies by someone and then we talk about 5 of them. You know what I mean? So to kind of deep dive in, I think it's kind of what I had in mind the whole time. So, hey, it's a little longer, but also you can watch it in parts.
I mean, you could. I mean, if
come
you
back
enjoy
and watch
the
it in
episode.
parts, but I think we covered everything, and I think these filmmakers deserve it. Maybe the Farrelly brothers didn't, but even they did because they made those movies. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into it for the most part. So I think it was great.
Yeah,
was we did Michael Mann one of your longer ones?
No,
it was short.
No, because we did that same format.
I love that one. Well, I'm a huge Michael Mann fan too, so
I mean,
I enjoy hearing.
I think this format kind of works as far as going through the movies and then ranking them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it works. Yeah,
if we watch 40 hours worth of movies, we should talk about them.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, regardless, if this is the longest episodes that we do, then fuck it, let it be. Is our show. If you want to see
next
it,
week will be 1 hour. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, next week is 1 hour. It's never going to be a 2 hour, except these director spotlights. I think that's how we're going to change the format. Now, the next director spotlight, I will not be revealing it tonight. Yeah.
Oh, you're not gonna.
We're not revealing it tonight.
I'll tell you off air.
We'll tell you off air, but we're not revealing it tonight. We're gonna do it next week. We're gonna reveal director spotlight and the reboot and redon't. I was gonna put up the poll for it, but I decided just to pick the movies. So it's going to be. I'll tell you next week. What is it gonna be?
Excited.
So next week, director spotlight, reboot or redon't is going to be a horror movie. We're gonna let you know which one it is. Coming next week. It's gonna be actually pretty fun. Next week's show is going to be I just want to get it out the way.
What are we talking about next week? I don't even know.
Yeah, next week we have I have everything in front of me.
Is it this or that with Triborough?
Yes, Triborough Gigolo is joining the show. Me and Nate is going to tackle 2 movies that he gave, one to me, one to Nate.
Horrible.
Of course, they are wrestling movies because he's a wrestling fan.
So that people can watch this crap with us. So Triborough Gigolo decided to we said it's movies starring wrestlers. Okay, now Alex made the decision to say none of the big ones. So no John Cena, no Batista, no The Rock, because then we're watching A-list stuff. So he could choose from Roddy Piper, he could choose from Hulk Hogan, and my man Triborough came out. He gave Alex a movie starring Triple H called The Chaperone. So that's number 1 movie. And then in some kind of cruel joke, he decided to give me a movie starring The Big Show called Knucklehead. And I don't even know what this movie is. The poster is horrible. And of course, me and Alex will be watching this. Yeah, we will be watching these movies and debating why our movie was better. So, Alex, we have to look for the positives here. This is not a negative show.
I know.
This or that is a positive
you
show.
You got to look at the positives.
Yeah, we got to look at the positives. And then Triborough, of course, said he will watch both and he will adjudicate and decide who presented a better argument. I'm excited. Actually, I'm kind of excited to watch the movie. So.
Yes.
And Alex won't be watching mine, and I won't be watching his.
No, not at all. Now, 7/25, July 25th, when we come back, it's going to be the top 5 opening credits to a movie. We're going to pick our top 5 opening credits to a movie of all time for us. You guys could do the same thing. And then after that, it's a redon't. So we're going to reveal all that stuff because behind that is director spotlight. So me and Nate has a lot of watching to do after this.
What else is new?
Yeah, what else is new? After tonight, we're going to be jumping in. And all I'll give you a hint is that this director has 11 films also. So it's going to be a pretty lengthy episode. So it's actually going to be pretty cool. Other than that, like I said, starting on July 20th, Cinephiles is going to do the first episode live. Me, Jody, and of course, Sebastian. He's going to join in. We're going to do Captain America first, Avenger. We're going to show off all our collections for that one movie, talk about that one Marvel movie, and then me and Jody are going to go through the entire cinematic universe with different content creators and different collectors and see what they have for that one movie. Show it off, see what you guys think of it. But again, if you guys are gonna ask me,
I can never be on that show because I only have one version of everything. I don't double dip.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's a collector. If you wanna voice your opinion, you could. It's up to you.
We'll see how I feel.
Yeah, but other than that, Nate is always gonna be invited to it. So please don't ask me saying I'm replacing him. I am not. He's always invited to those shows. So well, anyway,
I'll be replaced when I quit.
Yeah, pretty much. Or that's when we stop doing everything altogether.
When I quit, we all quit.
Yeah, we all quit. Pretty much. That's how it's going to go. Other than that, thank you so much for everyone that's joining. Actually, let me read some people's stuff. That's kind of rude. We're about to cut off people when people put their listing. Evan, Pop Culture 33 said his number 9 is the following. Number 8 is Dunkirk. Number 7 is Tenet. Number 6, Dark Knight. Number 5 is Dark Knight Rises. Number 4 is Insomnia. Number
no 9 is following, 8 is Dunkirk, 7 is Tenet, 6 is the Dark Knight.
Dark Knight Rises is 5.
No,
he missed the number.
Messed up with his numbers.
Yeah, so I was okay. So I'll just do it this way: following Dunkirk, Tenet, Dark Knight Rises, Insomnia, Memento, Inception, Interstellar, Batman Begins, and then his number 1 is Prestige.
He's Team Giovanni. With
Wow,
the Prestige,
Team Giovanni on that one. Whack a Butcher. His number 11 is Following, Insomnia, Prestige, Dunkirk, Memento, Batman Begins, Interstellar, Dark Knight Rises, Tenet, Inception, and his number 1 all time is the same as Nate, The Dark Knight. So
he got Tenet at 3, so he
yes,
loved
Tenet,
that. Yeah, he did say it was his favorite.
I'm gonna try
movie
to go up.
2022.
I know I saw other people's stuff, so I'm just trying to go up quick.
I'm trying to scroll up to see if any.
I know Tim Talks Talkies had one
way
too.
At the start, though, when we started.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I could pull it up. Tim
I can only go
Talks
so
Talkies.
far up. It won't let me get to his.
Yeah,
The
I think
earliest we could go to is where Jay said, "Hey, Stephanie." Oh look, Robert. I found Robert's. Okay, Robert. Number 9, The Dark Knight Rises. Number 8, Tenet. Number 7 was Dunkirk. Number 6, Interstellar. Number 5, Insomnia. Number 4, Memento. 3, Batman Begins. 2, The Dark Knight. And number 1 with you. No, Alex, you didn't have it. Number 1. You had Interstellar. Inception. He had his number 1.
Nice.
Oh, that was my number 2. Yeah. Look, other than that, look, you guys brought the heat. Thank you so much for everyone that joined us and continue staying with us for 2 hours and 35 minutes here. Thank you so much. Yeah, Pop Culture Evan. He says, I love the long episode on topics. If you go fast, then you missed a lot. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we're just going to continue the spotlights just like this. We're going to rank them and go through each one and talk about them with you guys. James Ferris, thank you so much.
When we do the 20 movie directors, we're going to split it into 2 episodes.
2 episodes, yeah, 10,
we ain't
10.
doing 20 episodes in one. We'll be here 17 hours.
And then Steven Spielberg will be a whole week. 2 weeks.
5 episodes, yeah.
Spielberg's going to be the longest one, man.
He's got like 50 credits. We're going to have to break them up into 10s. It'll be like 5 episodes long.
Credits. He's got a lot of movies where he just, he does it for himself, and then he really does it for everybody else. Like,
I will say this: if you want a hint, if someone could figure out the director's spotlight for the next coming one, I will say this: the name was dropped during this episode. So if you get it right, I will say that. If you get it right, I will give you guys I'll give you guys 4 digital codes. Let's put it that way. I'll give you Prestige. Dunkirk. What's the ones that I got?
Interstellar? Didn't you just
Interstellar? I just got it. Yeah. I'll give you guys 3 Nolan films, and then I'll give you guys 1 more out of the hat. So I'll give you guys 4 digital codes. Yeah, deep and Hard Target.
Hard Target 2.
Hard Target 2. No, I'll give you guys 4 digital codes. If you guys can figure out, someone said it today. You guys will figure that out. DM me or Nate, Nateflix Reviews on Instagram, or myself, Geeks and Flicks, on Instagram. So, with that said, thank you everyone so much that is still with us live. If you're catching the replay and you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit those notifications. So every time we drop or we go live and videos drop, you guys will be notified. Giovanni, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
For joining us for the first time ever.
Subscribe on this video and share this video too, man. I know all your friends will like all of this too. And
if they like movies,
series, yeah,
share it.
Quickly, Alex, if you can throw up my latest short film, which is The Cabinet, where it has a file cabinet on it. The poster, real quick. I do have a sci-fi short film coming out very soon. I'm being a little secretive about it because I have sent it to Sundance and a couple festivals, so God willing and all of you guys praying may get it in there. But it's a little indie smartphone short film thing that I shot with me starring in it. So there's that. So you can follow me on Greenlight as well here on YouTube. I'll have some making ofs for movies coming out every weekend for each new movie. I do Blender tutorials and stuff like that. I do all that live. There's one that's coming out very soon for a little 1-minute short that I did, animated short. So I'll be talking about that very soon. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. You could follow me on Instagram as well. Greenlight at Greenlight ADFW. So.
Nice.
All right, so
thank you guys again.
No.
It's great having you.
No, it was really great having a filmmaker under our wing while we do this. Because normally we don't. We don't even know if we're talking shit about these.
I mean, but that's the whole point. Hey, that's
Um,
why I'm jumping in. It's a little bit more fun. And that's what I was saying earlier. I miss that kind of like mentality. I used to geek around with my friends in school and all that stuff, talking about movies. It gets me excited about it again. Just hearing about Interstellar again like this, I'm just gonna watch it again just out of this excitement. So yeah, man, like just let me know when you guys do another one. I'll jump in.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Well, you're gonna find out after this. Don't click off once we get off. Let me see. Wacka Butcher said, Alex, is it Guillermo del Toro? No. M. Night Shyamalan? No. Look, if you guys want to know, you have to rewatch the episode.
Yeah, he has 11, not 1,000.
I have an idea now, though, too.
Yeah.
Now that we're
Rewatch the episode. Someone drop the name, DM me or Nate, and someone's going to win 4 digital codes. Other than that, guys, from me, Nate, and Giovanni, be awesome to each other and geek out.